Hello everyone, welcome to the finale of the Julius Baer Challenger Chess Tour, the day 4 with everything at stake. Prague leading the tournament, Abdusatro in the second spot, and Nihal in the third spot, all within 1 point of each other, and 4 intense and interesting rounds. Are you excited, Soumya?
Super duper excited, especially for our Indian juniors. And imagine the winner of this tournament will get a chance to play in the April edition of the Meltwater Champions Chess Tour.
Yes,
Incredible opportunity, which I'm sure all of them are eager to grab.
absolutely, absolutely. It's going to be interesting, it's going to be exciting, and anyone can win this. So let's have a quick look at the standings before we go into the show. This is the standings as of yesterday. Prag leading the tournament with 12. He's in the sole lead. Abdusatro Nodevak with 11 and a half, both part of Team Kramnik. Nihal and Liang Amanda with 11 points, and Vincent Kamer in the fifth spot with 10 and a half. From the sixth and eighth, there's Murshan, who Nihal is going to play against right now. Gukesh, who is at 10 points right now, but he's going to get 1 full point in the 16th round because he's playing against Dinara, who had to forfeit because of her internet connection and is not taking part for the rest of the tournament. So everyone who uh, is paired against her gets 1 full point, everyone treated equally. And our own Leon Mendonca, who had a fabulous day yesterday, who is improving with each day at 9.5. And he's going to play against Prague today in a very interesting encounter that we all are looking forward to. So this is how the Indians have been performing. And Team Polgar with 75 points have got into a lead against Team Kramnik, who has 71 points. Let's see if Team Kramnik catches up. Although I'm not surprised that Team Polgar is leading, considering their chessable choices.
But I also saw Surya's reply to one of the Instagram posts saying that if the other team did not choose your course, that means they already watched it. So you can't be very sure about that. Maybe they've already watched your course, Sri, and maybe the players are already following it in this tournament.
Quite possible, quite possible. To be honest, I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but I have seen Gukesh having those positions from the positions in my course, and he seems to be doing pretty well in this tournament as well.
Absolutely. And before the rounds begin, I wanted a prediction out of you, Shri, today. What do you think is going to be the score of the winner of this tournament at the end of 19 rounds?
I'd go for 15.
15.
Yeah.
15 is a lot. And considering that only 4 players can reach 15, actually.
So what is your prediction? And what is Janta's prediction?
I actually thought of 14, but now that you say 15, yeah, let's see. My prediction is 14. She is saying 15. What do you think, Janta? What's going to be the score of the winner of this championship?
So Abdus Satro with 12 and Abdus Satro with 11 and a half, Prag with 12. From what I know of these kids, there's a good chance that they might win the next 3 games, and I think they are going to set a very high bar. It's not that straightforward. It's not a taken for granted thing, but uh, but yeah, I mean. Looking at their opposition, I feel they will do everything in their capacity. So unless some nerves happen, I think they're going to get there. And we have kickoff. Prag starting with d4, staying faithful to his opening for this tournament. Leon thinking about what he wants to do. Is he murmuring something?
Maybe he is giving himself a quick pep talk.
Mantra. I was thinking he was doing some sort of mantra.
Oh, really? I don't think. I think he's a very chilled out kind of boy. That's the kind of vibe I get from him. He must be singing to himself, if anything.
Yeah. Quite possible. Yeah. Prague focused with his hand on his head. The Slav Defense, which also Leon played against Nihal yesterday, so not a surprise for Prague. Prague has been so well prepared in all the games in this tournament so far, so I'm expecting probably the same. 4e3, one of the classical Slav variations in one of the classical Slav positions. Here, bishop f5 and bishop g4 are the two main moves. e6 is also a move. Yes, bishop f5, one of the main moves. Knight c3. We have seen this. We have seen
Yes, in I
Leon.
think her Abdul Malik's game, in his game against Abdul Malik.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I think so.
after
I think so.
bishop g6, knight into she played bishop e4 first, provoking f3, which is the right most popular move order, I would say. And then bishop g6, knight into g6, 8 g6, and white has a pair of bishops. And I think white played bishop b2 and queen b3 and long castled in that game.
Yes, exactly. Wonderful memory.
I hope it's the right memory as well. Perhaps it's just my imagination.
No, don't worry. We're not going to check that. So knight h4 played here. In the meanwhile, Nihal's game against Murzhin, exact same position, pretty much the same position.
Oh my God. Copy paste, huh? Copy paste.
Yeah. So
What the
Nihal,
difference, guys? So do you think they're going to look at each other's boards and just copy each other?
no. If it was an OTB event, that would be very much possible and realistic. But I think in online event, you don't really have the chance to do that. And you're also, I mean, people are also on screen share and everything, yeah. So they would be kind of scared to do that. Oh, Nihal is doing some magic. He just disappeared from the screen. Now he's back.
There is this famous incident that happened about 2 games following the same opening in an OTB event. Karyakine was white in one of the games, and Shirov Alexei was white in another. Their opponents both played the same exact opening against them in the Sicilian, and they followed the same theory up to maybe 20 moves. And what is incredible is that they were sitting right next to each other. So at one point, the arbiter had to shift one of the boards so that neither of the 4 players can copy each other or be intimidated by the other player's preparation, so to speak. And this was as recently as 2019 in the FIDE Grand Swiss.
So far, yes. I totally remember what you're talking about, Soumya. I totally remember.
This was
Very interesting
incredible
incident.
to witness, because it is so uncommon for something like this to happen, especially on the next boards. And let's see if Nihal and Prague's game also goes the
No, but
same way.
in team tournaments, this is a strategy that has been discussed with the teams. For example, in the inter-university championship, there was this team called, there was this SRM University, which was just winning everything.
Right.
So their opponents, who were outrated in all the 4 boards, they seriously considered doing something like this, copying each other on boards 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
Yeah, actually, it's this is quite possible, no? And do you think they actually did that? I think many team players actually do this. At least on the blackboards, they do it.
No, they did not go ahead with it, but they certainly, some of the university kids certainly considered it, even if not for malicious intentions, just to see the reaction of the SRM guys and to frustrate them a bit, because they were not only winning everything, but they were winning on every board, like 4-0, 4-0, 4-0. And they were making the contest a no contest. So,
by the way, I just recollect as we were discussing this actually has happened with me as well. Me and Kiran Manisha Mohanty, we were playing 2 girls from Turkey on the last round of the World Juniors, and she was playing the leader of the tournament, and She needed to draw her game in order for me to win my game and become the champion. And both our opponents played the exact same opening. So we both played the exact same opening for a really long time. And her opponent chose a drawish sort of variation. So they made a draw, and while mine gave into a very tactical game, it went to a very tactical game, and I won my game. And it was actually on the next board, but it just so happened that we were not sitting next to each other, even though the boards were 1 and 2, but we were sitting in one line, so I couldn't see what was happening on her board. And we found out only after the game that it was the exact same opening.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, these kind of coincidences are very rare, and that's the reason they are so memorable.
Right, yeah, yeah. Some incidences are coincidence, but in my younger days, if I was caught in some opening which I did not know, I would shamelessly peer around all the boards trying to see if the same opening was played in any of the other games. But of
That's
course,
how,
usually it wouldn't work out.
but that's allowed. Let's just put it.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, it's
That's
allowed.
completely allowed and a very
Uh,
smart way to approach the
So
game.
Prag's game is still Prag is thinking in the opening. It's
Mhm.
still in the main line, whereas Nihal's game has advanced by a few moves. This is the present position in Nihal's game. And when I look at this position, my initial thought is, why not take knight into g6, h into g6, knight into d5,
Yes,
winning the
why
pawn
not?
due to this pin. So then black would be forced to take knight into d5, queen into
Right.
d5. But here black can just probably play rook into h2,
Yes.
uh, coming into the dark square weaknesses and
Mhm.
the white king in the center. So for this reason, Nihal has played g3, protecting the h2 pawn and keeping this option of knight into g6 open. This is a very interesting position because very interesting in a strategic way. White
Mhm.
will probably win the pair of bishops. He will have these light squares, and Murugan is more of a King's Indian player. He's not. Uh, he can also play Slav, and he plays the Caro-Kann against one e4, so he knows these structures. But all the same, he's still more of a King's Indian player, and uh, I'm not entirely sure how well he understands this position because it's something uh, it's something quite complex. Of course, the same applies to Nihal as well. Although he plays a lot of one d4, still these kind of positions it requires for you to spend specific time here.
Right.
But right now, I think Nihal is the one who is having a bit more pressure.
Absolutely, Shri. And actually, I was just thinking about this. If he exchanges the queens as he has done in the game, White can simply take on g6 and he can enter into an endgame where he has a pair of bishops and that's why a slight pull always throughout. So I think this is what Nihal was counting on, because it is very hard to suggest moves for black instead of queen b6 in this position.
True, true, true. Because of this knight d5, knight b5, all these tactics
Jumps.
coming. Yes. So knight into g6, h into g6, very solid position for black, but some pressure for white. This is the situation we have right now. And on the other hand, the Prague Lyon game, it's almost following this. So g3, bishop e7 played. Now if knight into g6, h into g6, bishop d2, knight d7, rook c1, we'll have the same position with queen b6. Yeah,
No,
knight
but
into
the
g6.
difference is that black has taken with the knight on d5,
Ah, yes, yes, yes,
and
yes.
In Nihal's game, black took with the pawn. So this is the big difference in the structure.
True, true, true. So, yes, Prag's game in a more complex middle game, Nihal's game in a slightly slightly better
Favorable
end
end
game.
game, yes, for sure, favorable
But
for white.
oh, okay, I'm sorry. You know why I got confused? Because
Yeah.
Nihal also just played King F2. I was like, what? How did the games get interchanged?
Yeah, it can get very confusing for the commentators, spectators, the arbiters, and the players as well. There have been incidents of players roaming around during their game in an OTB tournament and then coming back and sitting back at the wrong board because the position was so similar to the one on their board.
Yeah, I know. Deepan once did this in one of the national teams. That was hilarious. He
And I
came.
think, yes, please tell me.
No, I mean he just came and sat in a different
Wrong
board
board.
and I think started to take the tea that was there and
Oh my God, that was hilarious. Did he also make a move?
no.
Oh, that would have been hilarious. Arvind also did this. He had once told me about it. He also did this, and he also, I think, made a move on the board. Amazing, amazing. These kind of incidences can happen so easily with chess players because we keep on thinking even while we are roaming around. It's not that we stop thinking just because we got up from the board, and so
Yeah, I
players
mean,
can get
you don't even
very.
need to rationalize that, Like, I remember, I mean, these kids like Nihal and Prag and even Gukesh, they are so notorious for not being able to spot what is in front of them. Like, many times they have gone and hit a glass pane because they couldn't see it. And I remember one incident quite memorably when Nihal and Prag, they were in some airport together.
Mm-hmm,
We all were there and they wanted to go to McDonald's.
mm-hmm.
And there was a McDonald's right in front of them, 100 meters straight. And I immediately spotted it, but I didn't tell them because I was curious to see how quickly they will find it.
Mm-hmm.
So they, instead of spotting the McDonald's, they immediately went to a computer screen in the airport, which shows
Okay,
all the different shops. And
right.
then they started searching there for McDonald's very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
They found McDonald's, and then they started. Then they realized that it's some 100 meters away from the screen, and even after that, they started looking at all the other directions before realizing that it's right in front of them.
Absent-minded OP. Chess players, another name can be absent-minded people.
Yeah,
Which is
even more with this generation who have
with
been
the present.
so with the screen in front of them,
Yeah.
so much time with the screen in front of them.
And let's go to Gukesh's game, shall we? Like, we haven't had a
No,
look
no.
at
I
his
told you,
game.
no, at the beginning. Gukesh is playing against Dinara,
Oh,
so he just gets
Gukesh is.
1 point.
Oh,
So we
okay.
only have these
So,
two games, and
mhm.
Leon is spending quite a bit of time, but Nihal's game has progressed a bit. So this is the
Right,
present position of Nihal. Now the
right.
good thing about Nihal's game is he has more time than Murjin, which is a big positive because Murjin is someone who plays really fast.
Yeah, and I think White has played knight e2 just now. So one of his ideas is definitely to push pawn to e4 and control the center. So black is likely to prevent it with rook to d8 maybe, so that after e4, d into e4, f into e4, we have knight d4 coming in as the rook on d8 supports the knight on d4. So I think this is likely to happen. No, he has played king f8, allowing d4. He probably is counting on e4, f into d4, e into e4, d into e4, f into e4, and rook d8. And maybe because the bishop on d3 is quite vulnerable, he can still get c5 once white supports it with something like
Yeah,
bishop e3.
or knight c5.
Knight c5 is also a very strong idea. So that's the reason white did not hurry with e4. It's a very slow game. He's played king g2, supporting the pawn on h3 so that he can move his rook away, but then black can double on the h file and still put pressure on the h3 pawn.
Yes, indeed. It's quite a bit of a challenge to figure out how to make progress here as white
Mm-hmm.
because black's position is so very solid and so well protected. As you pointed out, I think white has to try and prepare e4 in some way. So bishop c3 is a move that comes to my mind immediately. Just try and protect it with everything you can, and then try and I think make progress with e4. This has to be a white strategy. And this should be easy to achieve because black cannot really. Yes, he has played bishop
He
c3.
has heard you, Sri. He has heard you. Nihal and you definitely have a telepathic connection. He has played bishop c3. Maybe he also goes rook f1 next, so that after e4, d4, fe4, you keep an eye on the f6 knight, which is sort of pinned because of the bishop on c3.
True, true, true. In most likelihood, I don't see black taking d into e4 though after e4. He has played rook d8 within a reasonably quick time. Now e4 would be met by takes and knight c5, yeah, which we previously mentioned.
Yes.
I think it
So
still works.
So white has played rook h to d1, which is a move I did not expect. I thought he's going to move the c rook to d1 so that his h rook will be free to come to f1 instead. But Nihal prioritizes to keep his c rook on the c file so that it is in control of the open, half open c file as well.
True, true, true. For me, what's pleasant to see in this game is the fact that Nihal has played so quickly, which generally means he's in some sort of flow. And to have more time against Murshin, who is specifically known for playing really fast, is I think a pleasant thing because when someone is used to playing so fast, they are not used to getting in time trouble. And when you're not used to getting in time trouble, it can be unpleasant. And now Nihal will probably play e4.
Yeah,
He'll think
now
a bit,
e4
but probably
is.
play e4.
Yes, and I actually think Nihal is trusting his intuition more today rather than trying to calculate everything. And maybe that's also the reason why he's playing faster.
True, true, true. I think he has taken your advice to his heart yesterday.
It's also, don't you always feel, Shri, you're his coach, guide, mentor? Don't you think it is his biggest strength, his intuition?
Definitely, definitely. His intuition is fantastic, and but having said that, yes, his intuition is one of his biggest strengths, but his calculation abilities is also remarkable and
Mhm.
quite out of the world. So when he's playing classical chess and when he's spending a lot of time and a lot of questions, he sees a lot of things that I don't even consider or think of seeing. Uh, but yes, he has all these raw materials. He has all these raw sheer qualities. It might take him some time to find the ideal ratio in how to mix them up. So that is the journey of self-discovery that he will probably be doing from here to the age of 20.
Wow, very well put. So it is basically which asset of his should he focus on and use as his main strength? Would you say something like that?
Yes, exactly. And also, sensing where he should be spending more time, sensing where he should be spending less time,
Mhm.
sensing how to, increase pressure against the opponent. A lot of these are chess skills, but also non-chess skills. And these things improve. These things he's already quite good at in blitz time controls, but
Right.
in classical chess, he doesn't have as much experience as we do. So here he has some learning curve in these things.
Right. And I actually like what Murzin is also doing, putting his bishop on f8 and now to g7. I even thought for a minute that he might even play bishop to h6 with the idea that after e4 you have g4 coming in. But yeah, bishop on g7 is definitely more sensible, keeping an eye on the d4 pawn. It was a
Yes, but
very
with the
mature.
kind of regrouping that black has done with the rook to d8 and bishop to g7,
Mhm.
white also has the option to start exploring a breakthrough on the h file,
Oh yeah, suddenly the
g4 and
king on
h4.
g8. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
sudden.
yes.
Oh, that's a very um, good strategic spot. And I think he has heard you. He comes back rook d1. He does want to keep an eye on the h file. Maybe he'll first play g4 as you said, then rook h1, then h4, and simply double on the h file now.
Yes, an update on the result. Vincent Kamer has defeated Nurgul Salimova. So with that, he moves to 11 and a half. He also has an outside chance of winning this event. He's still in contention. And before Nihal's game heats up, a quick look back at the Prug's game. which has also reached a position where Leon is down to less than 30 seconds and he's under serious intense pressure. Pragaz got this pawn to d5, which is always uh, a positive thing. Leon will now try to block it with knight e8, knight d6, or queen c7, but there is absolutely no question that Prag is considerably better here, and a win in this game would give him a fantastic platform to launch himself ahead because he has two relatively more lower rated opponents coming up in rounds 17 and 18. Zanzaya Abdumalik and Sara before his finale against Abdusatro in the last round.
Exactly.
So,
And
yeah.
this bishop g5 on the board, Shri, and that's exactly, he prevented black's plan of knight e8 and knight d6 because the bishop on e7 was now hanging. The way Prag has been handling this games with advantage has been remarkable. Even here, bishop on g5, so accurate. Now rook to c1 with the idea to play knight b5, a6 coming in. I'm expecting h4 as well. a4
A4.
preventing b5. Yes, exactly. And perhaps the next move is h4 on the board, simply going for an attack on the king side.
True. He's steadily upping the pressure against Leon. Although he would love to have one more of his knight on c4. Prag
Oh,
would love to
yeah.
have a knight on c4.
You know, exactly. Now he might even reroute his knight to c4 via d1 and e3 and ask black what is he doing in response to this plan.
Yes. By the way, we have a major update, major update, not related to the Indian games, but Abdusatro is actually a piece down. He's completely a piece down against
Oh my
Olga
God.
Badalka, who is at the 19th spot in this tournament, and Abdu is at the second spot. But look at this.
Oh my God. That is massive. And of course, Abdul's still fighting, hoping that his B and A pawns help him cruise to at least a draw, but looks very difficult. Bishop E3 now on the board. Maybe bishop D4 coming next because B2 will be met by rook B1, and after rook A1, rook into A1, B into A1, there is bishop into A1 as the bishop on D4 guards not only the B2 square but also the A4 square. So
Yeah.
actually, but is it so hard for black to make a draw here? I'm wondering, maybe he
Bishop
still
e3 was
has
an
chances.
inaccuracy. Bishop e3 was an inaccuracy.
Mhm.
She had to play. She had to just move the king, and then after b3 play bishop c3, because
Oh
the
yeah.
problem for white here is when white plays rook d8 check, king h7, and rook into a8. Black has this b2 and the pawn queens by force. So
Yes.
she's taking two moves to control this pawn with bishop e3 and bishop d4,
Mhm.
which she could have achieved in one move while making an improving move with king g1.
Yes.
So this
And the
was,
king on h1 also comes under some mating threats. That's also another issue that white has with the king on h1, whereas on g1 it would be much more comfortable.
yes. I think she has completely lost control of this, and
Oh my God. Now this
now
is
now it
getting
looks
very
bad.
hard to
Yeah.
even defend, right? Like, what if just b2?
No,
No,
the
but
one good
b2
thing for
doesn't
her is
work.
yes, because rook a1 is not really a threat.
Exactly. So black has to spend time with rook c2 and then b2. But maybe white is in time to play rook d8. Is he or is he not? Maybe not. Maybe not, because rook c2 instead of b2. Rook c2, rook d8, king h7, rook into a8. We have b2 here, and rook b8 would be met with rook c1 check,
Does a2
or
win here?
even a2, right? A2 is killing on the spot.
Yeah, because bishop into b2 can just be rook into b2. So he has played b2 though. He
But
has
b2
played b2.
looks wrong because the rook can never get out of a2, right? It
Yes.
simply looks
But
wrong.
bishop c6, bishop a4, bishop c2 is an idea, and I think rook b1 is a panic move.
But even
Yeah, bishop
here,
b5, and here Olga has no way to. Yes, bishop d3, and now it's just lost.
oh my God. Oh my God, Bishop D3. Maybe she missed Bishop B5, Bishop D3, and only looked at Bishop A4, Bishop C2. Oh my God,
Yes, yes,
what a
yes.
turnaround by Abdusattorov.
So
Wow.
Abdusatoro wins this and moves on to 12 and a half out of 16. Meanwhile, Nihal seems to be in some trouble here in his game against Murshin. He's he's completely lost control. He's low on time, and Murshin is starting to get in his element. And this looks very very bad for Nihal. I think it's highly unlikely that he's
He's
going to
down
be able
to,
to.
okay, he made a move because he was down to 4 seconds and it was really creating a lot of panic in my mind.
Yeah, Black is just entering White's position
Now
with
maybe
all his
knight
pieces.
e3 is very difficult. Maybe knight e3 wins an exchange simply. Oh, knight e3 can be met with rook to c1, is it? No, knight b5, knight d1 check. Exactly. White has lost an exchange, but his knight on d6 is well placed. Maybe he'll look to exchange a few pawns with f5 now.
Yeah, but no, I think this is just lost. Knight into c5 coming up next.
Yeah.
I think what you mentioned is right. Knight e3. But yeah, rook c1 was not really working either. I think White was
Mm-hmm.
just lost there,
Mm-hmm.
and Nihal probably has to. Yeah, he loses the
Oh,
f4
this
pawn now.
is.
There's still some hope. Yeah, but after knight into c5, that gets extinguished. So if he can take this pawn, then he has some chances to draw. But now no. Yeah, rook d2 check, and now
And
just
rook g2 maybe?
yeah, rook g2 was what I
Or
was also thinking.
g2 or rook b2 even.
Yeah, rook b2 is also strong with rook h1 coming in. Murjin taking his time and
Yeah.
playing rook b2, and I think Nihal has to resign here.
Yeah, because after bishop c2, there is at least king into f7.
Yeah, he just takes the knight, and he'll be a rook up.
Yes. Ah, this is a pity.
Yes. So Nihal losing that game officially, and Prague is on his way to win now. So it's probably now down to Prague and Abdusatro from here. Prague is certain to win this game with the pawn on d7 queening, set to queen in the next round, next game. Sorry, next move.
Yes.
And I don't think Black has a fortress here. White's queen will just take all these pawns, and the presence of a B pawn, a big bonus in improving White's winning chances. So Queen E7 and maybe Queen into B4 next, or Queen into E5 next, and yeah, White is just cruising through here.
Yes. Yeah, the problem is white has too many pawns on the board and a queen. So materially, it is very hard to make a fortress out of this position because now the rook on e3 might be trapped after king f2. So white black has to play rook e1 and he will also lose the b3 pawn. And after which the b pawn will be a passer and um, Prag will simply queen it. So that's why Leon has resigned. Important
Yeah,
victory for Prag there. He moves on to 13 out of 16 points with up to closing in on 12 and a half out of 16 and Evander Liang on 12 out of 16. Very close, very close.
yes, very close indeed. And one of the differences, Liang has to play against all grandmasters in the next three games. But Liang has also done exceptionally well. He has won his last six games, and he has also, since his loss against Nihal in the sixth round, he has won nine out of the next 10 games. The only exception being his draw against Prague, but he was also completely winning in that game. So Liang, he's in a streak of fire, and
Wow.
Prague and Abdusatru also playing quite well.
Wow. So he has actually won all his games yesterday and even today he has started with a win over Grandmaster Jonas Bulger and it must be a huge confidence booster for Evander. What
True,
a
true,
wonderful
true.
performance.
So I think that's all the rounds, all the games in this round, right?
Yeah, and he
Oh no, the
actually,
Mamadzada game is still going on.
Okay, let's have a
against Zhu
look
Jainer.
at Zhu Jainer versus Gunai Mamadzada and what is happening on this position. Oh my god. White is the one who's trying for anything at all here. Knight on d5, knight on f5. Dream knights in a Sicilian knight off usually, but this is not a Sicilian knight off. Even then, nobody can kick them away. Now knight into h6 followed by knight f5 back and pawn moves to h6. This is actually lost. It's just that lost for black. It's just that they both are playing in very less time. So that's the reason
True,
black
true.
has some hope because there could be some sort of tactics coming in.
True. So Gunai has 4.5 out of 15, and Zhu China with 7 out of 15. So with a likely win here, Zhu might go to 8 out of 16, which is actually a pretty decent score considering the field. She would have outperformed her rating. She's 2459, but her performance will be, I think, well above 2500.
Yes, for sure. And queen e5, very strong move. Queen e8 coming in on the next move. Bishop, but now knight b6 check.
Queen is attacked. Oh, you mean previous move, yeah? No.
No, after bishop e8, knight b6 check was possible because queen into b6,
Queen into b8 check.
Yes. But she prefers to play queen e8, rook g7, knight b6, and now maybe knight d7. Maybe she repeats it once and goes knight d7.
Yeah, knight d7 and queen c8 should. Maybe not. It's still some moves. Yeah, knight d7, bishop c7, then just take knight into c5, and if bishop d6, then go queen c8. Yeah, so white need not really be in a hurry to win this.
But
yeah,
even queen c8 directly, no? Even queen c8 directly.
I thought queen c6, but now you can take knight into c5 as well. Yeah, but she just takes it directly. B6.
And now queen c8, even now queen c8, because b into c5, queen b7 checkmate, and otherwise there is queen into a6. But she plays knight e6.
Yeah, she's going the greedy mode, and after rook h7, white has so many nice ways to win. I think queen g6 is one of the simpler ways.
Right.
So Mamadzada has finally resigned.
She has won the game, and Zhu Jiner moves on to 8 out of 16. That is an equal score. What is it called, Shri? Usually +1, -1, and the equal score is not called 0-0. What is it called?
Nothing. I'm not sure. I think just 50%.
Just 50%, yeah. So she moves on to 50%. Mamadzada on 4.5 out of 16. Zhu Jiner will play. Whom does she play? She plays Shuvalova Polina. She's yet to play Nihal, and then she plays Jonas Bulger on the last round.
Yes. Yeah, so someone in the chat asking where Nihal went wrong. And
yeah, let's have a look at his game maybe before the next round begins, because he seemed to be doing really well out of the opening, and then
sure. Yeah, so the question was around equal around this point, yeah, and we were looking at rook d1, b5, bishop b1, knight e8, but I think Murzhin was also holding on quite well, and here maybe Nihal just didn't see this idea of g4, rook h1 and h4, so instead he went for f4, but this was perhaps not to his favor, because after g into f4, e into f4, it's actually white who's committing weaknesses for himself here. And so black started seizing this opportunity. He came with knight d6 with the idea of knight c4 and knight e3. White continued with g4, rook e8, knight g3 and knight c4 with the idea of knight e3. So as you can see, black is just coming in faster. Black has some serious pressure. The d4 pawn is a weakness. The e3 square is a weakness. And after king f3, c5, black started coming in with all his pieces. The d4 pawn is falling, and the position became worse for Nihal very, very quickly. As his coach, how would I assess his performance? I think it's about normal. Nihal himself wouldn't be too happy with the level of play so far, but in terms of results, I think it's completely normal. Because Nihal did win almost everything that was there to win in 2020.
Yes.
He won the speed chess championship. He won. Starting with the online Olympiad, then the speed chess championship, junior speed chess championship, and uh, the World Under 18, the Super Juniors Cup. I think he won more tournaments in 2020 than he had won in the last 5 years.
He was
And
also a part of the FIDE Olympiad gold medal winning team, not to forget that.
yes, yes, yes.
Very important contributor to the team. So, yes, please tell us, Shri.
Yeah, so it's kind of unrealistic to, win all the tournaments that there is. It's a probability based thing. Nihal's performance, I think it's basically it's still well above his rating, and I think today he was maybe under a bit of scoreboard pressure because of how exceptionally well Prag and Abdul Satru has been playing. 11 out of 15 is a very decent score in any circumstance against an opposition of this level, but that was still quite far from the first place. So uh, Nihal was in a position where he had to win all the games today, and that's just I think not at all easy, yeah, for anyone.
And that does put a lot of pressure on you. And sometimes even when you're playing very good chess, someone is playing so strong and cruising away with the tournament. So that kind of can be a little, as you said, that can put unnecessary pressure on you. You might be doing all right, but the fact that you cannot surpass this person, or the pressure to surpass this person, can get to you, and that can affect your play and your approach.
True, true, true. Uh, yeah, it's also been a difficult year for I think all the kids in the last 1 year, who were raring to go out and play tournaments and achieve goals and stuff. Instead, they have been forced to sit at home and just play chess on the computer. They love playing online, but it's been tough to do only that even for them, and they also started to get tired of this whole thing.
Yeah, of course, it has been a very difficult year for everybody, and it is a very unusual situation that all the kids have been put into. Even, I'm sure they must have attended school as well online. I'm sure they must have taken a lot of online
Yes,
classes,
yes, yes. That
schools.
doesn't make things any easier for them having to attend
Exactly.
school.
Um,
So in
she
2020, yeah, Soumya.
No, since we are on a break, we are waiting for the next round. I wanted to know, what would you say is the first word related to chess that comes to your mind when I take each of the following names? Nihal Sarin,
What is the first word relating to chess?
that comes to your mind when I
Ah, okay.
take each of the following names. First one,
Okay,
of
cool.
course, is Nihal Sarin.
Devil?
Devil. It's not a chess term. Is it a chess term?
Well, it's kind of related to chess.
Even on the
He's
board,
a
he's a devil, huh? He
yes,
can
yes,
be a
yes,
devil.
yes.
Gukesh,
Um, trickster,
trickster.
but
Mhm.
that applies to all of them. So yeah,
But Gukesh is the biggest trickster, maybe, yeah, out of all of them.
maybe yeah.
Divya Deshmukh,
Divya, I think same as Nihal.
same as Nihal, little devil.
Yes, yes, yes.
Minion, maybe. Minion is a more appropriate word for her. Pragyananda,
Resilient.
resilient. Okay, words of praise there. Arjun, Erigasi.
Arjun. Arjun is also one of these kids who you think is innocent at the first, but is definitely not. So, is there a word for this? Is there a
I don't know. It's
word?
the
Deceptive?
question. The
No, but
game is
deceptive
for
is too
you.
serious.
I am only the one asking the questions here. Deceptive. Deceptive is too
Yeah,
serious.
deceptive
I
is too
agree.
serious. Yeah, some fun version for fun word for deceptive. Okay,
Shan,
I'll
can
just
you?
call him. I'll just call him greedy.
Shan, greedy,
Yes, greedy
greedy,
Ajjo.
greedy urchin, and Ronak Sadhwani.
Raunak, intense.
Intense,
Yeah.
intense. Wow, deep stuff. And the last one, Leon Mendonca.
Oh, Leon, cheerful.
Cheerful, yes. Actually, that would be my word for him too. He's so like always smiling and in good humor all the time. Nice,
True, true.
insightful description of all the kids there from Super Kid Coach Srinath Narayanan.
Thank you.
So I think there is still some time for the games to begin. Srinath,
Yes,
you started working with Nihal maybe in 2017. You mentioned yesterday, right, on the stream.
2016.
2016. Uh, do you uh, do you think there has been a drastic change in his playing style since you started playing working with him, or has it been in the same direction that he was earlier?
It's more or less in the same direction, in the sense that his strengths have remained the same. He used to be a very good positional player from the beginning, and it has stayed that way. But he has certainly become a lot stronger, and one of the things that I actively started improving in him was his opening preparation, which like with all the other kids, it was also kind of non-existent in Nihal. And I think we made excellent progress there in the years that we worked. So there was this point in 2020 where Nihal was, winning all the matches that he was playing with a decisive advantage just from the opening. I remember there was this match against Marty Roshan, and there was a match against Sarana. He was just demolishing them by getting good positions from both white and black. So yes, he is. The style has remained the same, but I think his strength has improved quite a bit.
Okay, so you basically worked on the areas which he was not so great at while keeping his strengths alive. Can we put it that way?
Yes, I think that's a fair description.
Interesting. And do you feel working with him also affected your own game in some way, because you were at that time also playing a lot? Recently you reduced playing a bit, no? Last 2 years maybe you reduced playing a bit.
Yeah, around the end of 2018, I kind of took a pass from playing because I started accompanying Nihal to every tournament that he was going to.
Mhm.
And I'd also gotten a bit exhausted at one point because I was, constantly jumping from one thing to another. And I reached a state of mental exhaustion at one point. That would have been a good time to have in 2020 when there were no tournaments anyway.
Yes, but there wouldn't have been any tournaments to accompany Nihal to as well. So you would have.
True. No, but as I was mentioning earlier, one of the plans in 2020 when Nihal took a break for his 10th standard in 2020 was that we'd finish this 10th off and then just go on a tournament playing spree,
Mhm,
just playing lots of opens in Europe.
mhm,
Me getting to 2600, him going towards 2700.
mhm.
That was kind of the plan before the. Oh, the games have started.
Yes, the games have started. And we have Prag's game already. There is
Yeah,
a classical. Surely
classic.
there is a
No
classical
prizes for
game on the board.
guessing. Well, it had to be either classical or this H5 stuff.
H5. I think it was like a one game thing, no? This H5 stuff, but it was very interesting, I must say. Very interesting. try. And bishop g5, e6, queen d2 on the board, a6. This is one of the main lines in the classical. White can play either f3 or f4. This setup is known as the richer rouser setup, which has been taken by white and is usually the go-to setup for all the top players because white has a very strong initiative in this line, but black also has his counterplay chances. There are many ways to face it, one of them being bishop e7, followed by bishop d7 and b5. This is a typical idea. Let's see what Prag goes for. White has gone f3 and not f4, which is the absolute main line, so to speak. f3 is also quite dangerous, can be very dangerous for black, and black needs to know what he's doing. Knight d4 is the correct move order, I would say. Like nowadays, it's the trending move, short castle, popularized by Carlsen. I think Carlsen was the one who went for this knight d4, queen d4 short castle stuff, and it got really popular.
Yeah, no, I think this has been around for a really long time actually. The setup with bishop e7 and f3.
No, but the precise move knight d4, because earlier they used to play bishop d7 and
No,
they used
that's
to
a different
delay
line. That's a
taking
different.
on knight
So they played
d4.
bishop d7 at this
Mhm.
point, like a6 and bishop d7.
Yes.
They used to start with this, and the main lines would go with f4. But white also had this option with f3. But if white committed this bishop to d7, then white is at a bit of a disadvantage because you want this bishop to be on b7 in these variations
Right.
after taking knight into d4, queen into d4, and b5.
Mhm.
And with this bishop d7, you're spending an extra tempo on bishop c6.
Right.
So it was actually I mean, I cannot take credit for this, but at some point in 2017, I started examining this line as black and I realized why not just start with bishop e7 instead of bishop d7? Because the thing is, if you start with bishop e7 and white goes f3, then you go into this exact position, which is very popular tabia. And black is very comfortable here because the bishop goes to b7 in one move. And there's one extra tempo, it makes a lot of difference.
Oh,
And
that's an
if
important
white
difference,
goes
actually.
f4 here, which is the main line,
Mhm.
then after bishop d7, this kind of transposes into a variation of bishop d7,
Yes.
where I think black
There are,
reaches, yeah.
yeah, where there are a lot of games by Parham Magsudlu, for example, and a lot of other strong players as well.
True, true,
So
true. And when I
Setu
when I
as well.
re-examined this in 2017, 2018,
Mhm.
I found that black was actually not doing as bad as the reputation suggested. So then I picked it up and played, and I won quite a few games with black against some pretty decent grandmasters, which helped me win some opens because their winning with black is a very useful thing. If you make a lot of draws, then someone else would win everything.
That's true. In open tournaments, it doesn't matter whether you're white or black, you try to win every game.
Yeah, it's a very useful quality. So yeah, this variation it was pretty useful in 2017. Now in 2020, I think this has been quite well explored already. White has a few different ways to respond. So this position with king b1, b5, h4, this is important.
Mhm.
White keeps this bishop on g5 because black would like to play knight d7, but with the bishop on g5, white does not allow this. Bishop into e7, queen into e7, and queen into d6. The d6 pawn will hang. So bishop b7. And here the age-old plan was to put the queen on d2, then the knight to e2, knight to d4, bishop d3, and rook e1. But over the years, black has found concrete ways to defend against this. So for this game, Abdul Malik goes for a direct g4. This is objectively not great. Black equalizes very comfortably, but practically it's a very interesting idea because here black has to be very precise in order to equalize. Black cannot play the same plan that black plays against this knight e to knight d4 setups. So against this g4 or rook c8 h5, I think there is some queen a5 move or queen
Actually,
c7.
right now, I think knight e4 is also a move, right? Because knight into c3 is a check.
Yes. Knight into
And
e4 is definitely a move.
that's
True.
why I would
Then what do you think? Do you think
definitely
Abdul Malik just blundered this?
Yeah,
Ah,
I'm not
maybe
sure
she
because
did.
with the king on c1, it's a different position because after h5, if let's imagine the king was on c1 and white had played h5, knight e4 would not be as effective or won't work basically because bishop into e7 and knight c3 is not a check. So white basically wins a piece after queen e7 and f into e4. But here, I think it simply allows knight e4. Yeah, maybe she just blundered it.
Yeah, I think she just played too fast and she missed that the opponent had this option, which is
Prag
quite
taking
possible.
his time, which is commendable. He does realize something is different. He might not have spotted 94, but he does realize White has done something wrong and this is his moment. I think that is what is going on in his mind.
True. Entirely, entirely
He could
plausible.
also be calculating b4, by the way, which is a legit pawn sack. Because after queen b4, the b file opens up and it makes a lot of sense to do that. Like maybe just queen c7 after queen b4 and with the idea to play d5 next. So he could also be thinking of that move. And if he's distracted with b4, then it's easy to miss knight e4 as well.
I really don't think Prague would miss knight into e4. I'm just
Yes,
guessing it,
yes.
but
He's been
yeah.
thinking for 4 minutes on this move. It's a lot of time. That's the reason I feel he has spotted some other idea maybe because I feel if once you spot knight e4, you're inclined to go for it.
No, I think he's probably calculating within knight into e4. Knight into e4, bishop into g5, h6, maybe something into this. By the way, there's
So
actually a game of me against Prug himself with black in this opening in Aeroflot Blitz. It's a
Aeroflot Blitz
memorable game.
tournament. So
Yes.
memorable because you won it for sure.
Yes,
And were you
and
white
I'm
or
not
black?
sure if I can get a chance against Prug again, seeing how well he's improved. I was black in the classical.
Lovely. So after, maybe we can try to calculate some lines here. Like let's say after knight e4, bishop into g5, h6. There is a move like e5, blocking the queen's path. He has played knight e4. He has played knight e4 after 5 minutes of thought.
And Abdul Malik doesn't seem happy, no? I think she just missed this in her
Yeah, she
prep.
completely missed this. Um, even knight e4, bishop g5, h6, e5 is what I'm expecting.
And
Let's see
maybe
what.
White has to try and bail out here, yeah? Queen into d6.
Yeah, queen into d6, queen into d6, rook into d6, and play this position. But this is certainly better for black. He has the pair of bishops. The pawn on f3 is quite weak. Black's pawn structure is much better than white's. Black's development is much more than white's.
Yeah, no, there's absolutely no doubt. I think Prag is in the
Control here.
driver's seat here. It's a good opening for Prag. I think it complements his style of play really well. It's a good opening for Prag in the Challengers Chess Tour. For the Champion Chess Tour, I think he needs to, probably have something more solid. The classical Sicilian can get found out, but I'm sure he knows this himself.
Yeah. And he still has, yeah, even whoever wins the tournament still has a gap of almost 10 days to prepare for the next tournament.
Yeah, but to be
So,
honest, that's not a lot of time for the level difference that exists right now.
mhm,
For anyone who wins here, I think
mhm.
the Champion Chess Tour, I can imagine it's at a completely different pedestal. But that's actually a normal and good thing because if you see Ali Reza
Mhm,
Firuja, the best junior, I think, by far,
mhm.
and he's at 2750 himself. He's part of the elite. So there's a 100-point difference between uh, Alireza and the best juniors here. So if you see
Yes.
how Alireza started out in these elite events, in the beginning it was an absolute struggle. He reached the quarterfinals of the Meltwater Champion Chess Tour, I think only in his fourth or fifth attempt, and it was such a long learning curve even for him who has played several elite over the board events in classical chess, starting from the Tata Steel in 2020, and then tournaments like Prague, which he won, and the Norway Chess. And he's played several tournaments. He's spent more than a year in the 2750 plus level now. But even for him, it took quite a bit of time to adjust. So once again, for those who are watching this, uh, when these kids get to the champions chess tour, it is going to be a bit of a learning curve. So do give them all your support and all your positivity, and keep your expectations realistic. Yeah, don't please don't jump on them if you see them losing a few games. That's absolutely no good for anyone involved. This is the process that takes to excel in sport. There is a learning curve involved, and people need time to adapt, and this is the phase that Indian chess is going through right now. It will take about 3 to 5 years for us to firmly establish ourselves in the elite, and for that to happen, we need to have a lot of tournaments where our best players participate against the world's best players. And for now, the only way to do this is with this champion chess tour. So kudos to the Chess 24 and the Play Magnus group for organizing this, for focusing so heavily on India. And please do like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. This is the best contribution you can make for the growth of Indian chess.
On that note, on the note of growth of Indian chess, can we move to Leon's game? I don't have the engine in front of me, but I feel black is slightly putting a lot of pressure on the white king. The white king has just played king f2, and I feel f5 could be very dangerous here.
This is actually Leon's game against. This is actually Leon's game against one of the other girls here. I think Olga or someone else. Leon. Yeah. He played this exact thing against Olga. He won that game. So
Really? And f5 here, I mean, it looks so dangerous. Did she play f5? Let me just have
she
a
played
quick
f6.
look. She
She-
played f6 and not f5, but that's strange. I mean, f5 is actually, if white, okay, maybe f6 is also strong. I don't know, but I just thought that f5 also means that black can play f4 at some point. And basically, I didn't want to block my bishop because I have knight e3 ideas coming in as well after the knight moves.
Yeah. So e into f6, knight into f6, takes. I think this is the likely direction for the game to continue, but I think Leon knows what he's doing. I'm saying this because I look at his time situation, and it looks like he's comfortable here. Or it could also be that he's on a bit of tilt, being upset that he lost the previous game. The immediate reaction is to flash out the moves in the next game, and sometimes
With
that
Leon,
affects. Sorry.
with Leon, I have observed that I have actually played him just once, but I have seen him in a few tournaments and everything. I've observed that he has some specific openings. He doesn't change his openings very much, but he knows them really well, whatever he plays, and he tends to repeat them. So, as you mentioned, if he has studied this opening really deeply, it's not really about the tilt. I feel he just has like specific openings. He doesn't like to change too much from here and there. That's has been my observation about him. Maybe he has changed a lot in the last 1 year because everyone went through a lot of changes, got a lot of time to change as well.
True.
But this
They,
this
yeah.
could be the reason why he has chosen to repeat the opening instead of play something else.
Yeah, quite true. I absolutely agree with you. Especially they're especially at this period of their life when things are constantly changing. Yeah, all of them. I last met Nihal more than a year ago when he was more of a 16-year-old kid, and now he's close to being 17 in 3 months. And just yesterday we were having this conversation when he said, just one more year and he's going to turn 18. For me, it's almost hard to imagine Nihal being a 18-year-old, being an adult.
You sound like his father figure. Do you feel like a father figure to Nihal Sri? Like, do you feel you're more of a father figure than a coach or a mentor? Have you?
Kind of. Yeah, I think certain part of it. Yeah.
You do. The
Yeah, yeah,
way you talk about him as if he's 5 years old.
yeah. He does behave like that, although he was 12 when I traveled with him. And he does look like that also.
Yeah, he's oh my god. Yeah, that's true. And he's very, very polite as well. Okay, yeah, this part I know that is only for me and for people who don't know him, but still, this
Yeah,
is
yeah.
the
He's in
impression.
general very, very polite. Uh, I mean, he likes to troll people and tease and stuff,
Yes.
but very, very polite. Not taking people for granted or something like that. And
So let's have a look at his game. I think he's better, no? He's playing Gunay Mamadzada, who had a difficult game. She lost her previous game against Zhu Jainer, as we saw. And I think even this game, knight into g3 coming in, and knight into g3, f g3, knight e4 coming in.
yeah, but luckily she has
It's,
knight h4.
oh, knight h4 is. But knight h4 is, yeah, knight h4 is unfortunate. Knight into g6 is a check. So black needs to be careful and has to go queen f7 there. And that would not be
Yeah, he
anything
took
because
knight
then
into
the
g3, f into g3 taken back, and
king
now
g8,
he just plays
smart
king
move.
g8.
Very nice move with the idea to play knight e4 on the next move. Let's see what white has in store. Maybe she anyway plays knight h4 here.
Yeah, that's a devilish trickster of side of Nihal. Yeah,
Yes.
he does this
Alert OP.
lot. But yeah, that's true with all these kids actually.
Do
All
you
of them are.
think do you think he's such a good trickster, tactician because of his bullet obsession? Can I call it an
Uh,
obsession? I can, no? His online, he loves to play bullet and blitz and online
to a
chess.
certain, I mean, I think he just loves to play chess. It's not
Mhm.
specific to bullet. It's definitely not
Okay.
specific to play. I mean, he has his reputation because he has been the best bullet player in India for some time.
Yes.
But I
But he
think
also had a lot of games on chess.com, much more than others before the lockdown began. Now, of course, many of the other players also have incredible number of games, but Nihal had a lot of online games.
yeah, yeah, it started with him actually playing games with 5+0 time control. So
Oh,
when
I
he started
see.
out, it was not just 1+0.
Mm-hmm.
It started with 5+0. Then he moved to 3+0,
Mm-hmm.
and 1+0 is something he started playing a lot only after he became a grandmaster.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, 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 yeah. So it's not quite.
Related.
It might be related, but these things are shrouded in uncertainty. We don't know yet. See, no one has actually studied the effects of playing bullet on chest strength. It all comes from some general intuition. And in my experience, I think as humans, it's really important to study something with a bit of empirical evidence to understand the subject. Just having an opinion,
Mm-hmm.
it can be right, but it's probably nowhere close to the actual truth.
Very philosophical answer there by Shri.
No, I mean, I think it's more of a scientific answer. Yeah, I'm saying there has to be research. Like there has to be research for us to understand something.
So
We
you're more of
cannot.
a like statistics person. Like you would believe it if there were more numbers to support it, but right now there are simply not much
Yes,
numbers.
yes, yes, and I think it's dangerous to it's dangerous to have conclusions when you
Mm-hmm.
haven't investigated something.
Mm-hmm. I see.
So back to Prag's game due to chat's request.
Knight on c5 is splendid, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just so
yeah.
splendid.
Abdul Malik is actually holding her own. She
Yeah.
hasn't let her position slip away completely. And yeah, h into g6 taken, probably h into g6 back. And for Prague, I think he will try to create a passer on this side. Yeah, he has one more pawn here. And the way to do it is probably also straightforward. He just needs to play f5, king f6, e5. And he should get there in some time. Meanwhile, there's also another big heavyweight contest in this round. The game between Gukesh against Liang, who is a wonder. And Gukesh is completely winning here. He has played a spectacular game. I was keeping an eye on it while we were looking at the other games as well. He's
Mhm.
played a spectacular Kings Indian game, and he's defended really well. He's in a position where he's an exchange up, and importantly, he has an A passer, which is about to queen in just three moves. Black, on the other hand, does not have enough time to create the threats back against white. So if Gukesh wins this game, Gukesh, who is a bit below in the standings today, he's at the fifth spot.
Mhm.
He was a bit higher in the previous days, but if he wins today, he's going to get closer to the top three. And although he will be far away from the leader, he still has chances, in case something uh,
Goes
goes.
wrong at the top.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah, incredible game by Gukesh. So much in control. There is absolutely no tactic coming in. Um, Now just A6 and A7 and A8 would do the trick, isn't it? Like, does Black have any trick right now? Because Bishop H3 is not a big deal. You can always take knight into H3. He goes for Queen D3, exchanging the queens, after which White can even take on G5 with the rook and also queen his pawn at the same time. So yeah, very strong move, Queen D3. And Black has to exchange queens. So this is game over for Black. Very strong play by
Yeah, true,
the
true, true.
Gukesh.
Gukesh. Gukesh's dad's name is Rajinikanth.
Oh yes.
Sometimes I
I
wonder
know,
if
I
there is a
know.
correlation, that Gukesh is able to perform these magics and win from impossible situations. If there is a Rajinikanth link to it. All
Are you
the
a huge
Rajinikanth jokes.
Rajini fan? I mean, I'm a huge fan of all the jokes for sure, and also of him. But like not like how people in Tamil Nadu are like Rajini, Rajini, Talaiva. Are you like that?
No, no, I'm not like that.
Yes, of
I'm,
course,
I'm
he's
very
a
far
great.
from that.
But I'm a huge fan of what he achieved, despite his humble origins. He was a bus conductor, and then he became this huge superstar. It's an incredible story.
Yeah, that is true. Absolutely. A fantastic artist. Nihal's game heating up, by the way. This is the present position. And Nihal has sacrificed a piece. He sacrificed a piece by taking knight into g4 here, h into g4, queen into g4, and now after g3, g5, knight g2, rook f3 is probably the next move. Rook. Also to be noticed is that Mamadzada has barely 5 seconds, so she has basically 1 second per move remaining. She has to make all her remaining moves in 5 seconds per move. Yeah, 5 seconds per move.
Yes, she actually on my broadcast she has 0-0 on her time, but I'm sure there is some issue. Um, and
Yeah,
she
there might
does.
be a 1 second, 2 second delay. So
Yes.
what we
Uh,
have here on the screen, there she has 5 seconds, and that is accurate.
and Rook F3, isn't Rook F3 working here? Why is Nihal thinking? What do you think he is?
Oh! I have some exciting news, by the way, Soumya. Exciting
Mm-hmm.
news for the Indians, and
Yes, please
perhaps
tell
a
me.
bit for you personally as well, because you like. I think I sense that maybe you like late India. She's
Yes.
beating up this Aturo.
Oh my God. Incredible. Oh, I really like the way she plays chess, and in general, she's a very friendly person. So I'm really glad for her that she's playing really strong chess in this event. Let's go to her game.
Yeah. We have a game on the screen, and she has a rook. Abdu has only a knight,
Wow.
and the b4 pawn is also likely to be lost. This is, I think, great news for Prag, because if Prag, wins this game or even draws this game,
Mhm.
he consolidates his lead over Abdu Saturo, and the last round is between both of them. So if Prag can put himself a clear distance of more than 1 point, he can win this tournament with one round to spare. That's a realistic possibility.
Wow. To win the tournament around to spare would be what a relief. And I think it's always nice to win tournaments with a round to spare, because then you can play the last round without any tension, without any analysis of what could go right, what could go wrong, and just play chess.
True. The last round. So maybe let's get to Prag. Yeah, let's focus on him winning,
Yes.
and yeah, give him our positive energy and strength so that he feels the vibes. So Prag,
Actually,
once, yeah,
he has managed to dislodge the knight from c5. That's already a big achievement, I would say, because the knight looked so strong on c5. And now it's back to e2. The bishop's looking good on e5 and d5. He's just
yeah,
played bishop f4.
looks scary for white. He has played bishop f4. Black wants to take this pawn, and then the g pawn will roll. So she played rook h3 and e5, very strong move. And
Maybe e4
yeah,
now.
e4,
Yes.
and then the bishop will come back to e5.
Yes.
It's also lovely how Prag has been placing his pieces in this tournament so far. They've been so harmonious and so well placed. The pieces have been uh, displaying such activity. Oh, now there's rook e8.
Now rook
Yeah.
e8. Yes, rook e8 was
Oh, that's
strong
been
actually.
missed. That's been
But
missed by.
they did not play. Both of them missed by both of them. Now bishop d5, and bishop to c4. Isn't that over?
Yes, bishop d5 and bishop c4, very strong. And
then just
it's
push the
a
pawn.
consequence of the constant pressure applied by Prague, which
Now,
led to Abdumalik having to put up with difficult defenses that takes a lot of energy, which he has to do within limited time. And now Prague is just pushing this one through.
yeah, now just the pawn rolls. Pawn comes to e3, then e2, then e1. It's unstoppable.
Yes, a into b5 taken, a into b5, and knight b3, and the pawn just goes to e1 without any impediment. So Prague will win this, and Prague will have. Okay,
And
I'll
there
wait
is
for the
knight
game to
f3
end.
and knight e1. So there is some hope, but black can just take king g4 after knight f3. After knight e1, black has bishop to g3 and will be a piece up, and also the e pawn is still alive. So I think white will resign. I'm expecting resignation now. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, she's playing. She's playing. But what is rook f8? I'm sorry. Because e1 anyway, knight f3 check. So he controls bishop d5. Okay, this was the point.
Yeah, and now probably resignation. Oh, she takes knight into
She's
e2, rook into
fighting.
e2.
And now bishop e4 coming in. Bishop e4 coming in. And that is
finally
over.
a resignation. So Prague taking a 1.5 point lead, and Prague basically just needs to win his next game, which he's a big favorite to do because his opponent is Sarah, who has not had the best tournament so far. She's at the 16th place with 4.5 out of 17. Prague, meanwhile, has 14 out of 17, almost 10 points more than his opponent. Of course, with these round robin events, you never can be sure. And there have been instances where people have played spoil sport, but I feel quite confident about Prague's chances. Meanwhile, things were looking very scary for Nihal. Yeah, here Queen C3 check was a perpetual.
I was actually looking at Leon's game where it seems he's just cruising to another victory. But yes, let's look at Nihal as well. He's also winning the game completely, no? He's also
Yeah, so I think
like
we'll have a
e4
4-0 result. Gukesh has won officially, and Nihal is winning. Leon is also winning. Although I'm not sure if so Nihal is winning here. He's just completely winning. Just needs
Nihal's e-pawn is too strong, cannot be stopped.
yes.
But as you mentioned, the queen c3 check was perpetual, right? So she missed an opportunity there.
True. So Nihal has officially won, and
wonderful.
yeah, but it's also a bit unrealistic to expect them to find these things in 5 seconds.
Yes, of course.
I could spot it because I saw the evaluation bar at equal, so I thought I knew that there's a perpetual.
No, and also time scrambles. This is what time scrambles are all about, right? That's the reason it's advisable to keep time on your clock. But obviously, at some point, you're going to come under time pressure. If your opponent and you manage to make good moves throughout, then at some point, you both are going to be short on time as the game progresses. And then it's just a matter of who spots tactics better.
True, true, true. Absolutely true. And Leon has also won his game. So a good recovery from Leon after losing against Prague earlier today.
Mhm.
And he moves on to 10 and a half out of 17. So Prague firmly in the lead now with 14 out of 17. If he wins against Sara, then he wins the tournament. No questions asked. Abdusatro in the second spot, 12 and a half out of 17. He plays against Karisayev from USA and against Prague in the last round with the white pieces. So he will try to chase Prague as well as he can. Gukesh, Murzhin, Nihal, and Leon Avenda, all of them with 12 out of 17. Meanwhile, Vincent Keimer's game is still going on, and if he wins, he goes to the no. So Vincent Keimer is in the sole third spot. Yes,
Yeah.
because he played against Dinara
Mhm.
and he gets a point there. So Vincent
Why?
will. Sorry.
Yes, sorry. No, there was a result on Yip Karisa and Abdusataro's game, but I think that's by mistake on the broadcast, and I think they'll change
Okay.
it.
So yes, Prague in the lead. Abdusatro and Vincent Keimer in the second position with 12 and a half out of 17. Vincent Keimer has won his last 6 games.
Wow, incredible. These kids are so resilient, such big fighters. So much to learn from them. Their will to win is incredible.
Absolutely, absolutely. Their will to win, their recovery, and their general level of play overall, it's so high. So Abdul lost this round, guys. Lost this round. So this is the standings we have. This is the 16th round standings, and it will get updated when all the games in this round officially finishes, which will happen in a very few minutes. But to give you a verbal update, Prague with 14 out of 17, not 13 out of 16. Abdus Satro in the second spot, 12 and a half. Vincent Keimer at 12 and a half. And Leon Avenda, Gukesh, Murzhin, and Nihal, all of them at 12. Christopher Yu staying at 11 points because he lost his previous game against Baer from Denmark, who is also in the top 10. So this has been a pretty exciting tournament so far. Leon has played fantastic. He has scored 10 and a half out of 17, but that still puts him only on the 9th spot.
Yeah, and I was just having a look at Abdusattorov and beating his game once again, and just having a look at how he lost the exchange. Actually, he was definitely in the driver's seat. If you look at the position on move number 29, let's say, or even 28, he won a pawn here after d into c6, rook into c6, bishop b5. So he's a pawn up here. And
Yes,
after
but
rook
he's also an exchange
c7,
down, yeah?
yeah, he's an exchange down, but then
He
he won
sacrificed
this.
exchange with rook into d7. Yes,
But
yes, yes,
but
yes.
like the d7 knight, and like white is definitely better here, I feel. And then after rook c8, he won the bishop knight on d7 as well after bishop d7. So now he has two pieces for the rook into c3, queen b6. He has the b pass pawn as well. And then slowly he lost the thread somewhere after rook b8, rook b7, rook into b7, queen b7, queen d8. And here he played bishop c6, allowing knight into h3 tactic, because now the knight on f3 is unsupported. When the bishop was on d7, it was supporting h3 pawn as well. And bishop c6, knight h3,
Yeah,
pawn
but
into h3.
what choice did he have? Because after queen d8, rook c7 is a threat.
Yes.
And if you go
Now,
bishop f5, there's g6, and bishop g4, there's h5.
yes, exactly. So he had to play bishop c6 here. After knight h3, gh3, rook f3, he still has two pieces for the rook. Objectively speaking, it should still be at least equal, if not better, for white. Then he played king g2, queen f6, and even a move like queen b6 or queen a7 would have been okay. But he played knight f5, rook c3, and then he chose to exchange the queens at the absolute wrong time, because after queen e7, queen into e7, knight e7, and king f8, he loses one of the two pieces.
Yeah,
And this
this
is
seems
how.
like an absolute blunder. Yeah, if
Yeah,
let's say white just plays bishop d5 here,
yeah,
it looks like white is in total control. The bishop is so strong, the knight well placed, and
exactly.
if g6, then white has this queen into f7 check. A very nice tactic. Queen into f7, knight h6 check, and after knight into f7, white is just winning here because the b pawn is very powerful. I think this was a critical point, and to me, bishop d5 kind of suggests itself. It just looks like he blundered at this point. I think it's
Yeah.
a mixture of nerves and fatigue setting in and having the say.
Yeah, I actually think, you know what happened? In fact, not just queen e7, but I actually think that he missed knight h3, because for g into h3, he thought for 1 minute. So already he started to feel nervous at this point, and he started to miss moves. And after g into h3, rook f3, king g2, queen f6, he was, perhaps his psychological state was such that, okay, now I just need to exchange queens and I would be better. Now I just need to exchange queens and I would be better. And so he decided to simply exchange queens without realizing that he was actually losing one of his pieces by force.
True, true, true. That's a very, very interesting insight. Uh, yes, very, very interesting insight. Oh, yeah, I also see that after bishop d5, it's not so easy for white because black has this perpetual check. Queen g5 check, knight g3, rook into g3, f into g3, and queen d2 check. So once again, I think this is
Oh.
this scoreboard pressure set by Prag's fantastic performance.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else have been in a position where they have to win,
Mm-hmm.
and that is also leading to some losses in the process. So I think this has just been an exceptional performance by Prag rather than anything else. Very, very impressive.
Absolutely. And one of the points that you mentioned, that people are losing games because they are playing for a win. This is exactly what happens sometimes. Sometimes if you're going to play very solid, then it is quite likely that you'll make a lot of draws in the tournament. But when you're playing a win, you're also taking a lot. Playing for a win, you're also taking a lot of risks, and your opponent can capitalize on those risks and play for a win himself. So this is the balance that you need to keep in mind. And this is a playing for a win can also be risky. This is something you always need to keep in mind.
True, 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 true. Absolutely. Playing for any result, not a great thing in general.
Mhm.
With that, we have the updated scoreboard. And yeah, so as you can see here clearly, Prague clearly in the lead, 14 points out of 17. 14 out of 17 is a brilliant score in any field. And he has achieved this in a field filled with grandmasters and international masters, the best juniors in the world. I think it's an exceptional feat. And he has also won. He has also defeated so many strong grandmasters. He's defeated Nihal. He defeated Christopher Yu, Leon Mendonca, Baer, Leitinge, and he look at his ones in this cross table from 8 to 20. Yeah, he has
Mhm.
basically swept the field off.
Yes. 14 out of 17 is absolutely incredible. I mean, oh my God, what a monster.
Yeah, and no one else has been able to keep up. You can imagine how brilliant this has been. Even some of his best prodigy talents, his best prodigy colleagues around the world, they haven't been able to keep up this pace. Uh, Also, you can clearly see Prag's clarity of play, his preparation. He has systematically pressurized his opponents right from the opening,
Yeah.
outplayed them, and has seized on almost every chance that he has had so far.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I think when he has the initiative, when he has the activity, he keeps it to himself. He's blundering less. He's keeping initiative. He is converting his advantages, and that is a sign of being in great form and improving every day. That is a, like, for me also, I have observed this, that whenever I improve as a player, one of the signs of that is that I'm able to convert my advantages. I think that is a huge sign that you are going to the next level.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. I couldn't agree with it more. And but as we level up at each level, the level of resistance becomes higher. So it
Yes.
becomes harder to, do those conversions. But yeah, that's the process of improvement. And at some point, we do reach that point where we start being at that level. So yes, absolutely true. So yes, a quick update on the pairings for the next games.
Hmm.
Next round, Nihal will play black against Zhu China,
Hmm.
and Prag with the white pieces taking on Sara. Leon will not play this game because he's playing against Dinara, so he
Okay.
gets 1 point.
Hmm.
And Mukesh is playing against Christopher Yu, who has also played fantastic in this tournament and been at around the top of the leaderboard with
Yeah,
11
he's
out
a,
of 17 here.
yeah, incredible performance by him as well. And let's go. I think the rounds will begin any moment. We're just waiting for the rounds to begin.
Yes, the round expected to begin in about 3 minutes. And initially, they had a bit of delay in the start of these games, but
Mhm.
I think by this point, they all know how to start their games. And Prag, at the moment, his camera is off. Gukesh's camera is also off, so maybe they're doing some last minute checking.
I also want to point out two very strong performances by women players in this tournament. Li Tingyi and Zhu Jainer, both from China, on 9 out of 17 points. Really commendable score. Um, Li Tingyi won her last two games against Sara Khadem and Abdusattorov Nodirbek today. She has won both her games today. She's playing Murzin Woloder and Gunay Mamadzada on the last two rounds. Zujiner, on the other hand, also has won both her games today against Mamadzada Gunay and Shuvalova Polina, and she will play Nihal on the 18th round and Jonas Jer Bull. I think it's a really strong performance by both of them, and a very cool idea to actually have a mixed event, so that women players, we have always discussed this very often in many of our chess discussion streams, commentaries, that a very important way for girls and women players to improve is to play more in open tournaments against stronger players, in mixed events. And this is a great opportunity for the girls and the female players to play against all grandmasters and improve their strength as well as show their strength.
Yeah, I think it's an absolutely wonderful initiative. As you
Mhm.
said, it's true. We have discussed this quite a bit, and one of the things that we often point out is the gap in participation. Yeah, there is definitely more men players in any event compared to the women players. And I think with this is of course the Polgar challenge, and Polgar was of course famous for participating in these open events and excelling in there. So we I think we see a stamp of Polgar in enabling this as well, and it would be pretty curious to see how well this gap is filled when we give them opportunities to play in these kind of events starting from a very young age. To me, it's a
Yeah.
very interesting experiment, and once again, this is one of those things we won't really know for sure until we actually have these things happen and see the results. But logically speaking, to me, it never made any sense that women should be any weaker than men in chess. It makes no logical sense.
Okay. For me, actually, it's a very wide topic, and I would, to be very honest, comment on it very confidently only when someone has done a PhD on it.
No, I
Otherwise,
mean,
I don't think it
logically,
makes.
how my logic goes here is The game has started, by the way. Krug starting with knight f3. But yeah, my logic is, as human beings, as Homo sapiens, as a species, we form a lot of these little groups. Yeah, we form them arbitrarily, and when one group of people get better than another group in a certain skill,
Mhm.
the gap keeps widening, and this is not specific to gender. So, for
Mhm.
example, before 2000, India as a country was, quite poor in chess. And if we just go back in history, there were a lot of stereotypes about the race, about one race being superior to another. And I think now we know for sure that these things are just stereotypes. If you form an infrastructure and give them the equal opportunities, then the DNA is pretty much the same. It's more than it's close to 99% being the same. So I think from that logic, it's basically just a huge disparity in terms of the environment, the infrastructure, and the opportunities, which is why any one group of humans is probably better than another group of humans. I think there's nothing more than that inherent.
Mhm. So that's a very insightful thought by Shri, but I am a little distracted by the games which have already begun. So let's go to Pragananda versus Khade Malsaria Sara Sadar. Knight f3, d5, g3, g6, bishop g2, c6, d4, knight d7 on the board. What is this opening?
It's a King's Indian attack in
Mm-hmm.
against which Sarah has responded with c6 and d5 structure, which is clever because generally when you have this bishop on g2, the pawns on c6 and d5 they blunt this bishop quite well. So now black has to, knight h6. Okay, this is strange. But I think Sarah plays this.
Yeah, so knight h6, the idea is to play bishop g7 and knight f5, put some pressure on the d4 pawn. But it's definitely an unusual setup, that is for sure.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
this
I've
going
seen
to
I've
be a
seen
fresh
Sarah going
game?
this knight at six,
Mm-hmm.
but don't ask me why.
On the other hand, Nihal's game has also begun. He has played bishop c5 line, which we saw. Did he face it? I think he faced it against Prag, no?
Yeah, he faced it against Gukesh,
Against
and then he
Gukesh.
played it himself against the last round against Mamadzada Gunai.
Right. So he has
Suyash Singh
played.
is asking how many female are qualifying for the tour. It's 10 girls and 10 boys. The Challengers Chess Tour is with 10 girls and 10 boys, and 20 players overall. Yes, Soumya, you're saying something, yeah?
Yes, so bishop c5 short castle d6 c3. No, I was just saying he was clearly impressed by Gukesh's idea and decided to employ it himself. This is a very this is one of the things about chess. Sometimes your opponent plays something that surprises you, and not only surprises you but also impresses you, and then you decide to play it yourself in the next game.
Yes,
So
yes,
you're
yes.
constantly learning, and I think it's a very good sign that Nihal employed it the very next day. So d4 short castle. I mean, he's learning so fast. Like, it's not even like, okay, let me check this opening after the tournament. He, I think, checked the opening after the game itself, and the next day he played it himself. So that's incredibly fast. Bishop
True,
g5,
true, true.
f6. And Shri, I think this is one of the most important things about learning something. It's not enough to actually just understand what happened in terms of gaining knowledge, but also to apply it immediately and learn by practice. I mean, this learning by practice part is sometimes underestimated, and that's why people spend a lot of time just in the process of learning by knowledge, and when it comes to applying it by practice, the moment has passed. Maybe whatever you learned is already outdated.
Yes, absolutely. Also, there are different levels of learning, yes. Like, something by looking at it, and it's a completely different thing, I think, when you learn something by personally experiencing it, as opposed to looking at it as from an external perspective. So I think that applies to chess as well. So when you learn something by playing it, it's quite different from learning it by looking at the games or looking at the analysis itself. I feel the information gets registered in a different way in each of these activities, and the experience of playing it takes it to another level.
Yes, I agree, and I think that's the reason why it's recommended to play a lot of blitz, even though some people say that it's not good for your chest, etc. At least they used to, but I think it's the best way because there's not much time to apply what you have learned and lose as many games. You need to learn very fast nowadays. The competition has become very strong, so playing blitz, online blitz, is that's why useful in this way, that you can try out your ideas and just learn faster.
Completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. Uh, Meanwhile, in the other game, so far the games have started slowly.
Mhm.
So with Gukesh, he's playing against Christopher Yu. It's a Ragozin variation with the black pieces, and white played 5 queen b3. So against queen b3, black replies with c5, defending this bishop and getting the c pawn out so that it breaks white center. If the pawns stay like this, then white center is very formidable. So c5, d into c5, and here bishop at c5 immediately doesn't usually work so well. Although
Mhm.
queen b5 check can still be bet by knight b d7, it's
Correct.
always better to start with either knight c6 or knight a6 and then take the pawn. So Gukesh playing knight c6, and now after bishop g5 short castle e3, I'm actually surprised that he's spending so much time this early, but it seems like he's been caught out of prep because he usually plays the queen's gambit with 4 bishop e7. So
Mhm.
Ragozin is relatively less known to him, probably, I'm guessing. And therefore, he's stuck here, but he probably knows what to do. So it's more of a recollection thing rather than him spending time here.
As a coach, do you think that these kids also invest a lot of time in understanding the middle game after the opening, or do you think it's more of, let's see what has been played, learning the theory, let's say?
No, it's very much part of their opening preparation. It's very normal now to go deep in the openings to the extent that you also know the way the middle game works in those openings in relation with the pawn structure, or in general about the opening itself. So it's very normal and very important, and I think they do try to consciously do that. Uh, they are always curious and asking questions, and
Mm-hmm.
they generally don't stop that early if they're studying something. They don't stop that early and think that this is enough. Like let's say there are two types of people. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's one person who for example, when you're teaching them something new, like a new opening, they are eager to when it will end. They'll be like, oh, how much more is remaining? Oh, how much more do I have to see? How much more? And then there are another group of people who just can't get enough of it. They're always curious, asking more and more questions. Why not this? Why not that? What happens with this? What happens with that? And the second group of people usually learn a lot more because they don't have this self imposed ceiling.
Right.
So, excellence in chess at the elite level, it doesn't work this way. The way one studies a textbook, it doesn't end with a chapter. Yeah, it's a very open-ended thing. It goes on forever, and chess is infinite for human beings. So,
Absolutely.
it's this curiosity which sets them apart at all levels.
Einstein said it, right? I don't have any special talents except for the fact that I'm infinitely curious.
Yes, yes, yes. Indeed, indeed, indeed. It really. I think I've seen this in every level. Magnus Carlsen, for example, absolutely loves chess. Like there are again two types of attitude. Yeah, when you wake up, you feel like you have to do this, or you wake up on that day and you feel like, oh, I want to do this. And all the chess players at the top, it comes automatically working on chess. They don't force themselves, they don't push themselves. They're just curious about chess, and constantly they are trying to learn new things. That's how it works. And
Yeah.
generally, when someone else is pushing someone to do something, I think
Mhm.
it usually always is counterproductive. So, uh,
Mhm. I
yeah.
think it
So,
depends. I mean, I know of a few prodigies, let's call them prodigies, who were made to work very hard when they were kids by their parents because their parents told them that this is good for you. So sit on the board for 8 hours and work today, made a schedule for them, so on and so forth. So when they were kids, they were doing it because they were asked to do it and they were expected to do it, but as they grew older they saw the results of it bearing fruit, and then they sort of started to even appreciate it and started doing all the work themselves, but initially they had to be pushed to do it by their parents or their coaches. So I think it also kind of depends on the child, how the child takes it.
honestly speaking, I do have an opinion here, and I would say, maybe there are some instances of something being positive,
Mhm.
but I've seen several instances where the child just loses the interest, or the interest and the curiosity just gets killed by, someone else expecting results, or someone else pushing. And My personal philosophy is that, the achievement or accomplishment of a person also doesn't define them necessarily. So I'm very anti force in terms of an individual, even
Mhm.
if it is a child. And I think it can be very harmful for the development of a child, even if it seems to give results.
Mhm.
I
I
think it can
actually
also
think
have
it.
yeah.
Yeah, tell me, Shri.
No, I think it can also have an impact on the happiness of the child, and things like that. Even if they end up successful in their professional careers, I don't think it's a pleasant way of doing it.
I actually, I mean, what you're saying is nowadays, like the, yeah, it's actually many people believe this, and I understand what you're trying to say, but I actually think that every child is different, and that's why, some kids simply need that push. They simply need someone to tell them what to do and sort of motivate or inspire them to do it, so that otherwise they might not do it themselves, but once they see the results of it, it kind of helps them in their later life. So I think every child is different, and how you treat that child depends should depend on what the child needs rather than a set rule. That's my observation about kids. Of course, I'm not at all experienced, but from my own childhood and from what I've seen with my friends and people around me, that has been my observation.
Yes, I agree. I agree that every child is different, and it's a pretty long topic. Meanwhile, Suyash Singh has some super chats. Was Nihal pushed to play chess, or did he just pick it up? He just picked it up. So did I, actually. And he also has a question for you, Soumya. Any instances when you faced sexism?
Well, everyone knows about the Iran incident, but that was not related to chess as such. I mean, it just uh, happened to be a law of that country, which is sexist. And that affected my decision to not play the Asian Team Championship because it was going to be held in Iran, and I was required to wear the headscarf in case I planned to play the tournament, in case I intended to play the tournament. But in terms of chess as such, I don't think I have faced any kind of strong sexism ever. I think all the men players and the boys uh, whom I know have been very encouraging, and they're very supportive, and they always inspire me rather than demotivate me, and never because I was a girl or a woman player. So even if, like, let's say someone says, oh, what a horrible move, it's not because I'm a girl or a woman player, but it's because it was a horrible move on the board. So I personally never faced it in terms of only chess, but
Hmm. Hmm.
yeah, different people might have different experiences.
True,
In general,
true.
the Indian Chess community is a very healthy one, I would say, especially the friend circle I have kept. They have been very, very healthy. The competition has been very healthy and encouraging. So I have never felt any kind of sexist comments coming towards me.
Okay. Meanwhile, I have some bad news. Gukesh is struggling in his game against Christopher Yu. He got into this tricky opening, which he wasn't familiar with, and now he's basically losing a piece because Rook C1 is coming in the next move. And if White plays Queen D5, then White just plays E4. If Black plays Queen D5, White plays E4, and then after Queen C5, then Rook C1 is coming in the next move. So Black is just losing a piece. This one might be a bit beyond the reach of even Gukesh because Christopher Yu, well, he's in good shape and oh, Rook B8. Yeah, there's still some fight going on. I got influenced by the computer, but yeah, there's still some fight going on. With Rook B8, he tries to come to Rook B4, but White has A3 and he has played that. He has seen that he has played that, and Rook C1 coming in the next move. So this is uh, this is sad, but the truth. And guys, do hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you still haven't. As I see, we have built this wonderful community such that we have this constant watching regardless of anything else going on. It feels lovely to have, a close knit community like this with the Learning Chess series, the Chess 24 India uh, streams in general, the Discord, and the interaction. This is probably one of the rare streams where we know most of the chat personally well. It's a great feeling, and I'm sure a lot of you here would have already subscribed. But if you're new here, then do hit the subscribe button, and let's bring in more support for our juniors at the global level. And
Absolutely. And Sri, don't you think Prague has a really good position against Sara? I mean, this bishop on e6, what function is it doing besides supporting the d5 pawn? Whereas your favorite Catalan bishop is so well placed on g2, attacking the d5 pawn, the bishop on b2, also very happy to be where it is, always keeping an eye on against some kind of d4. And here, all white needs to do is stop black from playing d4 by knight b5 or knight e2. Either of the moves will work, I think.
yes, I think Prague has this slightly more pleasant position, but. But also, to be honest, black's position is solid. The nature of this position is such the pawns are blocking the bishops on both the sides. So this bishop on g2 looks good, but it is being restricted by the d5 pawn, and this pawn on e5 is actually restricting both these bishops. So although white has slight pressure, I think black is still holding this position solidly, which is quite normal in this structure with c6 and d5. The Slav structure is very, very solid. We saw Murzhin doing the same against Nihal. And this game, personally, it feels like Prague seems to be, taking a bit more time and playing bit less slowly than he has been playing in this tournament so far. So I really hope he turns up the screws towards the end. We are approaching a position where Prague has shown himself to be clearly superior than his opponents uh, in the mutual time trouble phase. So let's hope that he does the same against Sara as well. Knight
Yeah,
b5.
like Adiban mentioned yesterday, once Nihal and Prague get below 30 seconds, that's when we get to see the real class. So I'm not so worried, to be honest, for Prague, even though he seems to be low on time. And I'm feeling good about his position now. Knight b5, bishop d7, knight d4, knight very strong on d4. After knight into d4, I think white will take bishop into d4 and not knight pawn into, because you want to keep that weakness on d5 alive. And if black supports it with e6, then he sort of blocks his d7 bishop. His d7 bishop is sort of dead, doesn't have much of a future. And then you can simply play h3, g4, and all kinds of stuff on the king side. So I'm expecting white to take the knight with the bishop here.
Let's see. Let's
Let's
see
see.
how. There's not a
Let's
lot
see
of time
how Prag
to
handles it.
wait. Yes.
He takes it with the pawn, proving me completely wrong. He has his own ideas. I'm very curious to see how Prag is going to handle this position. Maybe we get to learn something from him today, which we never knew until today.
Oh, yeah, I can always count on that. I think you asked me a similar question, yeah, about how working with Nihal impacted my chess.
Yes.
And personally, it has been very positive for me.
Mhm,
Both working with Nihal as well as working with Vidit for a 2 year period.
mhm,
And those were conscious choices I made at that time of my career.
mhm.
And I think it has been very useful in terms of my growth for chess. When you work with people of such caliber, you also get things. You also get insights from them. It
That's
also
true.
rubs off on you, basically.
That's true. But I want to ask you a related question. Did you feel some kind of responsibility when you first started working with Nihal? Because he was always this huge prodigy, right? Now maybe you got used to it, but initially when you started working with him, did you feel this kind of responsibility that you need
Not
to guide him well?
No, I did not. I did not. I was actually I was pretty sure about what needs to be done, because in my own
Okay.
career, I
Mm-hmm.
realized I realized that a lot of mistakes were done,
Mm-hmm.
and I was I mean, I had become so good at making those mistakes that I knew exactly what to avoid in the development of a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I was pretty sure that, as long as someone actively did not impede things for Nihal, he's just going to keep improving.
Oh, like Magnus' dad once put it, we didn't do anything special for him, but all we did was not put any roadblocks in his progress.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Yes, yes, yes.
That's a
That's a
yeah,
very tough thing to do, because
that's also very tough. That's true. Because as his well-wisher or and a person who is more experienced than him, you want to show him the path, but it may be very different from what he wants to take.
true. And a lot of these children, they have such fantastic intuition, and they basically create the new path, So, oh, Nihal is winning, by the way. He's beating Zhu Jaina. Powerful game, and he's winning a piece with this queen d5 move, threatening both queen g2 checkmate as well as queen into a5. So powerful comeback by Nihal after losing the first game. And wow,
Oh
Gukesh
my
is
God,
also winning.
yes, exactly. I just saw Gukesh's position. He was in a tough position a few minutes ago, and now he suddenly has an extra queen on the board. What happened there?
Gukesh
Wow,
happened.
Gukesh happened. Yeah. Oh my God, knight c4. What a big blunder. Not a big blunder. 28th move, knight c4 was the big trap that he
Wow,
set.
queen e5. This is so Gukesh. This is so Gukesh. Queen e5 and rook d1 check. And now he has, although he's playing in seconds, this position is so straightforward for a person of his caliber that he's going to comfortably convert this. The a pawn will queen, and the c pawn is also a backup passer.
What an epic trap set by Gukesh. And as you mentioned, Nihal also winning. So let's see what. And Leon, of course, got an point today in this round
And
because he
Prague
was
is also winning,
facing
I think.
Dinara. So we can see a 4-0 result for the Indian kids once again
Prague is
in this
Prague is a
round.
piece up.
Yes, Prague is
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
piece up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Here, Sarah went for this draw with queen b4. Bishop into f8, queen into f8, queen c7, queen b4, queen into d7, queen into d4 check, king g2. This is the position right now. And it looks like black does not have a perpetual check. So uh,
Oh,
Prague
because
is
queen
winning here.
c2, because queen c2, white has king g1. That's the point. And if queen d2, then white simply hides king h3 maybe. This is the point. Wow, this is very cool. This is very cool.
So Prague repeating a couple of times to gain some time, and then he'll go and hide away. Sarah can still keep the game going by taking a few pawns, but the mental state at which she is in after having lost so many games, these kind of turnarounds are very hard to take because her position was totally okay. She was doing pretty solid, and this is an unexpected turnaround. You usually require a lot of positivity going in your mental state to recover from such unexpected happenings. So again, look, Prag playing King G2, King G1 once, and then he'll go King H1. After Queen C5 check, now he'll go King H1. Yeah, so now Prag is the one who has more time because he's gained 20 seconds while Sarah constantly thinking and blinking. Now A6 is clearly a panic move. It's a move that has give up written all around it. And Prag with the initiative now, he can start giving his own checks to the Black King. And yeah, Queen B7 is also a fine move. After the queen comes to a6 and e2, Prag will have everything defended. Sarah could have still put up some resistance by trying to take some of white pawns with queen c2 or queen f2. Just try to take some pawns, try to play h4, create some pressure. But a6 was not really much of a resistance, and uh, she's about to collapse. And this would mean that Prague would actually win the tournament with one round to spare. So, guys, keep Prague OP written in the draft of your chat and be ready to write it and spam hearts when the result is official.
Wow, incredible that Prag is winning a tournament with a round to spare. So, such strong chess, such a strong display of chess from him today and the previous 3 days.
Yes,
Wow.
and you thought 15 out of 19 was a high score, but Prague has achieved that score in 18 games.
Exactly. So maybe neither you nor me, maybe 16 out of 20 is the score.
Quite
Quite
possible, quite
possible.
possible. Yeah.
Yes.
No, but honestly, I felt that Prague would win the first three games, but I thought it would depend on his first game against Leon. Against Leon with the white pieces, Leon is dangerous, so he could potentially surprise Prague, but Prague got a good position out of the opening and never put a foot wrong subsequently. So this is just
A matter
no, this
of
is just
technique,
Prague
as they say.
OP. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Queen
So
c5.
definitely.
So he has to create a passer here on the queen side, and
Yeah, Queen A5 might not have been so great because it allows Queen E3 check and then King G2, Queen D2 or Queen E4, maybe Queen E4 would have been strong. So that's the reason he played Queen C5 instead, Queen B2, Queen E3, D4, Queen G5, King F8, and Queen into A5. With the idea that after Queen into B3, White has Queen D8 check and take on D4, supporting A4 pawn and preventing any kind of Queen E3 checks.
now she
So
plays h4, but with queen d8 check, Prague just picks up that pawn with a tempo.
yes,
Also nice how
Queen
he
G5.
keeps giving checks every
Yeah,
moment he gets.
yeah,
So now if
giving
black
time.
plays d3, then he has queen d8 check with check, which wouldn't
Yes,
have been po- possible with the king on g7. So just professional technique, trained by years of hard work and playing at a high level.
yes, and actually Prag and Nihal have a little more experience at playing in the high level compared to many of the kids here because they have played in the Tata Steel Rapid and Blitz for once or is it twice? They have played twice, isn't it? In the Rapid and Blitz in
They played it
2018 and
once. They played
19.
it once. No,
Yes,
they played it
and
once. I remember Prague played the Blitz and Nihal played the Rapid.
yes, that
And
must have been a very important experience for both of them because it was way back in, I think it was like 3 years ago when they were invited to play there, and it must have definitely helped them learn a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was a very, very fantastic opportunity and a vital experience in their tiny lives. And this is exactly what the Meltwater Champion Chess Tour can also do for them, at the similar
Mhm,
stage.
mhm.
Uh, this tournament is probably stronger than the Champion Chess Tour tournaments are strong at a stronger level than the Tata Steel tournaments. Although, and Prague has won, guys. Prague has won. We have it officially.
Wow.
This is the moment when Prague has won. He has won the Julius Baer Challengers Chess Tour with one round to spare, and look at his reaction.
Wow, what a sigh of relief on his face. He has done it and he is so relieved and happy. And he can now just play the last round without any stress and go for it completely. Congratulations to Prag and his whole family and his coach as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Congratulations to Prague and Prague OP. And yes, get the hearts going, guys. Let's go. This has been such a phenomenal performance, 15 out of 18. Even if Magnus himself played in this tournament, 15 out of 18 would have been an exceptional score. So, this has been a brilliant performance after losing the first game.
Wow, after losing the first game, he made 15 out of 18. Oh my God, incredible score. And he hasn't smiled yet. Can you believe it, Shri? I mean, I'm just looking at his face, waiting for a hint of a smile, and just there is no smile. There is obviously a sense of relief in his body language. He's just constantly like, ho gaya, this kind of expression on his face, but he still didn't smile. He's probably waiting to celebrate after the event gets over.
Oh yeah, I can actually believe it, and I think it's quite normal because I would also have a similar reaction when I won events. I think it's because it's we are so ingrained to not be expressive during the games. Yeah, we don't do a fist pump when we win a piece, right?
Mhm.
We are respectful to our opponents, and I think it just carries over.
Yeah, but it's always nice to show some emotion because it's still there, no? It's not like it's not there.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
absolutely. It's
chess
there.
player
It's
thing.
there.
I
Yeah,
agree, it's a
yeah.
chess player thing.
You were around when I won the world under 12, yes?
Yes, and you had a huge smile on your face. What are you talking about, Shri? I have pictures from that event.
Yes, I had a huge smile, but I didn't go running around and fist pumping and stuff, right?
Yeah, but
It's
like you didn't need to. You're like your smile just wouldn't stop. Like it was enough to just look at you and know who won the tournament.
yeah, I still do smile.
So yeah. But I think that's the thing. Prag is just waiting for the tournament to get over to actually relish his victory. He knows he has one more game to go, so he doesn't want to get ahead of himself and still keep calm for the last round. Probably that's the thing.
True, 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 true. Although my friend who's watching the stream is writing that I'm just stone-hearted, so no emotions.
That friend, is it Divya? Who's this
No,
friend?
no, 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 no.
Some friend we don't
But
know.
it does sound like a child, yeah?
I think there is another super chat by Suya Singh asking if he will play the Bong Cloud now. My bet's 100% no. 100% no.
Yeah, yeah, these kids are still a bit too intimidated and respectful to the public at large. Like, I remember Arjun is such a vicious flagger, okay? He
Mhm.
he he loves to flag so much that he once flagged me even in a classical game.
Wow. What are you saying?
I mean, I
Classic.
didn't lose on time, but I was under constant clock pressure.
Okay.
And he loves to do this to me because, he thinks I'm old and slow and all these things. All
Mm-hmm.
the kids do.
Mm-hmm.
But he especially relishes beating me on time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so this is Arjun against me. But
Mm-hmm.
when Arjun at large in public, when he's streaming and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
then I once saw him. He was playing this titled arena on stream,
Mm-hmm.
and his opponent made a mouse slip, so he actually gave back the move. I mean, I
Oh,
was like,
so
what? Yeah.
respectful.
I was like, what? What is this? What is this behavior on stream? It's so not Arjun.
So respectful. By the way, Kukesh's game against Christopher Yu, his conversion technique is really instructive. Do you want to have a quick look at it, Shri? He converted it so well after he won the queen.
Sure, sure, sure.
It's an incredibly, I think, very, very instructive way to convert a queen versus rook endgame, which they went into after White gave up his piece for the C and A pawns. So, let's see this position after 39th move, queen d6. Um, Black has a queen and 3 pawns, and white has a rook and 4 pawns. And you would imagine that white could make a fortress here, but it's actually losing for white, I believe. And I think Gukesh showed the perfect technique for it. First, stops any kind of blunders, like he plays king e5, then he brought his king to
Yeah.
e5, put pressure on the e4 pawn, and after queen d1, king g2, king d4 on the 48th move, white is actually in a zugzwang, because if he plays king h2 here, black has queen f1 attacking the f2 pawn, and after rook f3, because the f pawn can't move as the rook is hanging, so white has to play rook f3 in order to support it, and then he can just coolly pick up the e4 pawn with the king. So white is actually in a zugzwang here. So he gave up the e pawn after e5, fe5, rook f3, queen c2, rook f7, queen c6 check, king g1, g6. So he kept all his pawns supported, and then he simply brought his king to e2. And now, after rook f8, queen c1, king h2, even queen f1 would have won the game, but he played queen c5, attacking rook on f8 and the pawn on f2. If the rook would have played to f7, he would have simply picked up the f2 pawn with his queen and won the king pawn endgame. So white played king g2, huge blunder, and queen into f8 and resigned. Very instructive endgame by Gukesh.
Totally, totally, totally. And I remember during the game, I said something like this might be beyond even Gukesh, but happy to be proved wrong by him. And this was the point when it all turned around for Gukesh, knight for his opponent. Knight to c4 and now rook d1 check. A very, very clever idea. A very clever idea. Very
Yes.
easy to miss by his opponent because he assumed that he was just winning for the last few moves. Gukesh was apparently struggling and he had to be careful for only one more move. If he had seen this, if he had
Yeah.
spotted this, he would have played f4 first. And after queen into e4, knight into c4, queen into f4, black still has some compensation. Uh, but yeah, uh, white is clearly in the driver's seat.
Yeah, and Mikasa says, I want to read this chat. Mikasa says that I'm so surprised that a channel that is doing amazing chess content is not having a lot of subscribers. Kya hai janta? Kya kar rahe ho aap sab? Smash the like button and subscribe to show support to the channel. Yes, janta, please subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. It's absolutely free to like the stream and subscribe to all our channels. So please subscribe to the channel, Janta, and show Chess24 India some love so that we can have many more such streams and cover all these amazing tournaments together.
Totally, totally, totally agree with you, Soumya. By the way, the official standings, guys, official standings, official confirmation that Prag has actually won the tournament. He has put himself in such a place that no one is even close to catching him. What a performance, no?
Amazing, incredible performance by our Pragyananda, whose spelling I'm sure now everyone watching Chess24 India knows, thanks to Shri's description of it. And he has won the tournament with 1 round to spare. In second place, by the way, is Abdusattorov Nodirbek with 13.5 out of 18, and Vincent Kiemer joins him on the same points on joint second place with a round to spare. Then there is Gukesh closely following them on 13 out of 18.
It's been a
Murzin
very
on
impressive
13 out of
performance
18.
by Gukesh as well, I have to mention.
Mhm.
He has really punched well above his weight. He has won the last 4 rounds.
Mhm.
And let's not forget, Gukesh is a full 2 years younger than Nihal, and also close to 50 points less rated than him. But look where he is in the company of bigger boys who were born in 2004. At this age, 1 year and 2 years makes a lot of difference.
Mhm. Yeah, very important point there by Shri. Murzin Volodar, also I think the same age as Kukesh, is also on 13 out of 18. And Nihal, of course, also on 13 out of 18. There is Evander Leong on 12 out of 18. And Leon Mendonca, our violin player and latest grandmaster, is on 11 and a half out of 18. Then there is Christopher Yu on 11 out of 18, Jonas Baer on 10 and a half out of 18, and Li Tingyi and Zhu Jiner on 9 out of 18. So all these players on at least 50% score after the 18th round with one round to go.
Yeah, I was just making fun on. I mean, I was just having fun in the chat.
Salimova Nurgul has also actually played much above her rating. I just want to mention this. She has scored 7 out of 18, and despite losing two games today, actually. She lost the first two rounds today, and now she won against Zansaya Abdubalik, who is one of the strongest junior players in the world. And her next round opponent is Sarah Khaden. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, in this shows that you can never tell, with all these young improving players, their rating does not necessarily show their real strength, and sometimes their rating is lower just because they did not get enough opportunities and
true,
exposure.
true, true. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. 100% true. And yeah, their ratings are very dynamic things. Yeah, just
Mhm.
like their brains, they're changing at a very very fast pace. The
Yeah, and
fluidity is more.
I
Yeah,
also feel like the players who had a very tough event here, this is the first of four events, so they still have opportunities to come back, learn from what went wrong in these tournaments, and come back stronger in the upcoming events, and show what they have learned, show their improvement. So actually it's really cool that there are four such events and not just one, because it gives all the players a chance to improve upon their performances in the next ones.
absolutely, absolutely. And none of these things are short term. Yeah, everything starting from this and the events in India, the events involving our Indian players, and of course the growth of all these juniors. It's a very long term thing. I would say at least a 3 to 5 year process. Once again, chat. Lovely to have all of you guys here with us right at this moment, and look forward to your continued support through this growth period that we are going to have for the next 3 to 5 years. Again, please don't expect miracles in each and every event, someone going at the top and becoming a number one. This is a
Mhm.
journey that we are all going to take together, and this is a journey which I'm sure we will all witness together. And someday we'll see India's number one in the world in all formats of chess.
Yeah, wow, that would be wonderful. Yeah, there was a question in the chat saying Dinara lost all her games. No, she didn't. She actually, yeah, the chat already answered it. I see. She actually had connection issues, and that's the reason she pulled out of the tournament yesterday. And that's why all her matches have been given as zero, because she did not complete 50% of the game. So, this is in accordance with the FIDE rules. But we do hope that she can join the tournament back in the coming event. She can fix the technical issues in the coming days and join back in the event from the next one.
Yeah, the next Challenges Chess 2 will take place from June 4 to 8. And yeah, and then after that there are two more events, and then there's also a grand final coming up. The date's yet to be decided, but that's going to be awesome, guys. That only the top 8 from here will qualify, and that will be like this amazing grand final, the winner
Mhm.
of whom will get directly seeded to the champion chess tour of 2022. How amazing would that
Oh,
be?
wow. That is amazing. Yes.
And the last round has begun. We have kickoff for the last round. Although Abdul Satru cannot catch up with Nihal, he will
Mm-hmm.
still look to, sorry, cannot catch up
Pragananda.
with Prague. He will
Mm-hmm.
still look to score a moral victory, a consolation
Yes.
victory, and also to get some bragging rights, as these kids are going to constantly play against each other as they progress together towards the elite level.
Yes. And he has opted to play the Rosolimo. No, actually, he played knight c3 on the second move. After knight c6, bishop b5, knight d4, bishop c4, e6. This is a close Sicilian. You can call it a close Sicilian because d4 was not played. And after knight f3, knight f6, short castle, a6, a4, d5. This is clearly some theory, but I don't play this line. But d5 is a very sensible break in the Sicilian.
Yes,
Um,
this variation, the close Sicilian with knight c3, knight c6, bishop b5, knight d4 is actually, it can be quite dangerous for black if black doesn't know what to do.
mhm,
But I think Prag, he knows what he's doing. So bishop c4, e6, knight f3, knight f6, short castle, a6. He is clearly prepared. Abdusatro does have a tendency to play this 2 knight c3. And Prag has done his homework impeccably well. I think he, systematically worked against each of his opponent and had clear plans against all of them. It reminds me a bit of this Indian team's victory in Australia in cricket this year.
mhm,
The kind of preparation put by them.
mhm.
I can see similar things with Prague here, and I'm really, really looking forward to see how he performs in the Meltwater Championship. So, a completely different challenge, but from what I've known about Prague so far, he will definitely punch above his weight and he will put up a very, very creditable performance. I remember Prague played against Wesley So
Mhm.
sometime in 2018. So imagine how young Prague must have been then, about 2500. Wesley So already a part of the world elite. He's one of the leaders of the champion chess tour right now. And they had a 4 game match. But even in 2018, it was such a close match that Wesley So was able to win only by a margin of 2.5, 1.5. Prague managed to win back in the second rapid game. He
Mhm.
held the third rapid game, and it went all the way to the end. And Wesley So was able to win only by the smallest of margins. So imagine his mental fortitude. He has such brilliant qualities, and it's only a question of his chess skill catching up to the elite, which I'm sure will happen over a period of time.
Yes, for sure. And we also have Nihal's game that has begun. He's playing white against Olga Batelka, and they have a London system on the board. It's always a question how to face the London, and Batelka has chosen the D5 setup. Uh, I think we saw this setup even earlier in one of the games where white basically plays bishop b3, knight c6, and now maybe f4 and tries to play on the king side with the centralized knight.
True. I think it was a game of Gukesh actually,
Yeah,
and
I don't think it was Nihal's game, but I remember one of the Indian kids played it in one of the earlier rounds.
yeah, it was Gukesh. It was Gukesh. I think he played it against. I'm not sure who. I think he played that against Olga only.
Mm-hmm.
And no, that was Catalan against Olga. It was Catalan. So
Okay,
I
but it
think it was
was
against Salimova.
Salimova. And Gukesh, talking of Gukesh, he is playing Polina Shuvalova with the white pieces. He has also gone for the London system on his board. And in his board, Shuvalova took on f4. So a slightly different version. she took on f4. So now the pawns are on doubled on the f file, but on the other hand, the f pawn controls the e5 square. So the knight is very strongly posted on e5.
E5. Oh, you mean knight f3, knight e5, yeah? Someone,
Yeah,
Kapil is asking if the April event leg of the Champion Chess Tour will happen because it clashes with the candidates. It will happen, guys. It will happen, of course.
the first 3 days, which is the preliminaries, clash with the candidates, but the quarterfinal onwards, it doesn't. So,
Yes, and we have plenty of chess talent in the world. Yeah, apart from the 8 who are playing in the candidates, as we are witnessing right here live, 20 wonderful players and so much more also out there. So many more.
yeah, absolutely. So there's in general also, I think there should be tournaments going on side by side because there are so many good chess players and they also want to keep playing tournaments. So it's a very good thing that there are many tournaments happening right now. And it's bound to happen that some tournaments will clash with each other, but we have enough streams covering all of them. So you have a lot of choices to pick from.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can parallelly watch streams, but do hit the like button and subscribe to Chess 24 India if you still haven't. And yeah, uh, so Queen
Yeah,
f6 played.
Queen f6 played on Gukesh's board. Um, yeah, and like imagine if we had this pawn on e3 and the pawn on f4 compared to having both the pawns on f4. A drawback is of course that the f pawns are doubled, but on the other hand, we have control of the open e5, and the e5 square is much more accessible to our pieces with the e pawn out of the way. So there are pros and cons of having these double pawns, I would say.
Yes, I think the pros are more. I
Mm-hmm.
remember there was a game between Carpo against someone in a French defense, but the
Mm-hmm.
structure was quite similar
Mm-hmm.
in term, and this structure really controls the dark squares quite well. So I quite like how Gukesh's position has turned out.
Oh, Leon's game. Oh my God. He's playing such original chess here. He has played Reti with white and he played fifth move. Evander just went and grabbed the whole center and with e5 and d5 and knight f6 and knight c6. Then Leon played a3 on the fifth move, threatening b4. So he's trying to dislodge the center from the side. And soon Avinder had all the control of the center. Like logically, Black has played all the right moves: bishop d6, bishop e6, queen d7, then bishop h3. He exchanged the light square bishop. But the problem is that white is ahead in development, and this is the only problem that Black faces because now maybe white can simply break open the center with e3
Hmm.
at this very moment after queen e6. What do you think of e3, Shri? I think e3 is a logical move to play here because after pawn into e3, there is even knight e5 and there is even rook e1.
Yeah, it's a
But
very
rook,
logical move, totally logical move. As black, I would try and keep this pawn on d4. So maybe I'll look at queen d5 with ideas to
yeah,
play e4 myself if you allow me to do it.
exactly. White needs to be careful to not fall into some sort of e4 trap, and with the queen on d5, e4 becomes even more powerful. Basically, white cannot take on e4 because the c4 knight is hanging then, and if the knight moves, then the queen on d5, and with the king on g2, then after e into d3, it's a check, and the c4 knight still gets
Sorry,
lost.
I missed your variation. Can you repeat?
So basically, like imagine this e3 queen d5 variation, right? And we
Yeah.
take e into d4.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Uh, Luckily, after e4, we have knight. We don't have knight e. Yeah, we have knight e5 supporting the c4 knight. But imagine we
Uh,
went knight g5, then we would take on d3 with a check and still lose the knight on c4.
True. It's a very valid point. Someone in the chat, being Cosmos being very witty. Just curious, the winner of Polgar challenge, will they be called Polg Champ?
Very smart. Smart OP. Cosmos 3. What is this? Cosmo, are you. Whoa, what kind of username is this? Interesting username.
Cosmos, yeah. Uh,
Adiban is also here in the chat. Hello, Adi. What is up?
Chessable course 1B3.
Stefan Miller asks why people at Grandmaster level don't play Karo Khan and moreover sometimes don't follow main lines like Dubo but still come out of top. Amazing.
They do play Karokan, but yes, I think the Berlin is like one of the most solid openings out there. So a lot of players prefer to play that. But Karokan is also it also exists at the top level. A
Yeah,
fan of Carl Sagan.
Carl Sagan. अच्छा इसलिए the name of Cosmo और Sri क्या होता है? Is your name also Srinath? So Sri is like a short for
I think
Sri.
maybe a fan of Carl Sagan as well as me. An amalgamation.
Oh my, too much हो गया. Can you please confirm Cosmos 3? Is that the reason your name is Cosmos 3?
Okay, so back to Prag's
It will be
game.
interesting if you can confirm it. No, like
Yeah, it
bragging
will be
rights.
interesting for sure. Just to let you know, feel free to say no. You won't face any consequences, timeouts or bans or anything. So don't worry about
Oh, you shouldn't have said that, Shri, but ठीक है.
it.
So Niha's game, yeah, let's have a look at it. थोड़ा progress हो गया है. Bishop h4 खेला निहाल ने. Knight e4 आया. Bishop e4, d e4.
One second. Where is Nihal's game? Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, he played bishop h4 on the 11th move, and black played knight e4, bishop into e4, d into e4, knight ec4, bishop c7, dc5, bc5, queen c2. So he has a better pawn structure, but black has a pair of bishops. And उसका knight का e5 का square चला गया है अभी. So
किसका knight?
when the pawn was on d4, he had a great outpost on e5 for his knight, and he could have cemented it with another f4 coming in, but he probably did not like black's f6. Once black's knight moved from f6, black could have gotten f6 in and pushed the knight away anyway, so he decided to go for these exchanges with bishop e4, de4, knight ec4, bishop c7, dc5, bc5, and decided to play with a superior pawn structure in exchange for his giving black a pair of bishops.
True. So yes,
but the d3 square is like kind of annoying, no? I mean, imagine if a knight comes there. Luckily, it can't, because both. First of all, the knight is pinned, but anyway, the knight cannot reach e5 because our knight controls it. Still, the d3 square is annoying.
True. It's not just that the black knight has to occupy it, yeah? Like, for example, queen d3 is a move which is made possible by this. I'm not sure if it works here because there can be some tactics like this. But in general, yeah. So Nihal has played rook d1 with the idea of knight to e4, the discovered attack. And this puts black in a spot where black has to defend it. And she has played queen d5 and done that. But I'm not sure if queen d5 is the optimal way to have optimal way to be doing it, because now the queen is so oddly placed, and it looks like white should be able to take advantage of this.
But how
Nihal
does
just
he play it?
flashing out b3. White need not do this immediately. I think white can take his time and gradually build towards it.
For example, what if white plays knight f5 here? Is there some tactic coming in?
No, I think knight f5 is a good move. Yeah, knight f5 is a good move. So knight f5, knight f1, queen c6, bishop g3. And the game continues like this. For now,
Mhm.
white is doing a good job restricting the black bishops, but on the other hand, black also has good activity, so uh, it stays in the balance.
Right. Prag, by the way, has a very decent position against Abdu. He has a double pawn on the d file, but they do an excellent job of controlling important squares. So they can't be called a weakness at all. In fact, the knight on a3 is completely out of play. If anyone is better, it has to be black here.
Yes, definitely. Prag, I really like how he continues to exert himself and tries to play his best, even though he's won the tournament. And that's maybe one of the reasons why he didn't celebrate in the last round, because he still wants to finish the tournament well. Although he has won the tournament, he still wants to probably end with a really good game. And then he has all the time to celebrate before the Meltwater Championships tour begins.
Mhm. The chat is going full, they are splitting up their names. And into, like, for example, there's some comments saying Mikasa is equal to Mika plus Savant. I don't even know what it means, but just sounds so funny. Chat is in its own
Someone is
track.
asking, can Prague play Prague Masters in the future? Well, funny thing, I used to play a lot of tournaments in this place called Faroe Islands.
Mm-hmm.
So the way to get there is from Copenhagen in Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
And in Copenhagen, I used to stay at a student accommodation, like a hostel kind of place. And the place where I used to stay, there was a street called Prague Boulevard. And I used to remember, I used to have these landmarks, yeah, for remembering the directions.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to remember that place so well that it comes right after the Prague Boulevard.
Chess helping in unexpected ways. I
Oh,
really
yeah, yeah.
like
Chess
Prague's
really
position.
helps with numbers.
Numbers, huh?
Yeah, because right from the beginning, I used to be fascinated with the FIDE ratings.
Oh my.
So I used to remember these four-digit numbers really well. So whenever there was a four-digit number, so even the mobile numbers, I used to split them up and used to remember pretty easily. At one point, when the phone's memories were limited, or when I had to remember the numbers that I couldn't save, I used to be able to remember numbers quite comfortably.
And speaking of remembering things, Prague's move, 26th move, reminds me of Anatoly Karpov. Do you happen to see it? He played
Yes,
knight
yes, yes.
b8.
Knight
His
B8.
knight was on f6, and he felt that the knight was not doing any function, even though visually it looks very well placed there. But he felt that the d5 pawn doesn't need its support. It's not getting to e4, it's not getting to g4. So he decided to reroute it via d7 and b8 to c6, where it is performing many more functions. He felt he could come to e5, or he could attack the pawn on a5. He's supporting d4 from c6. So very instructive. I don't know if it's the best plan, but definitely very imaginative.
True, 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 true. And very much in accordance with how Prague has been playing in this tournament so far. No amount of praises appropriate for Prague here, because his performance has been simply out of the world. Outstanding. I'm starting to understand why these adjectives got where it was. Outstanding, out of the world, because they are literally that. How's Gokesh's game going, by the way? Knight b5. It looks like Gokesh is going to end up with a victorious finish to me.
Oh, so strong. Yes, knight on b5 is so strong. Coming to d6, coming to c7. Oh my god, even oh my god, it's hard for, it's also, by the way, supporting c3 pawn. So we are not blundering anything at the same time. And queen h4 uh, could be met with, met with knight c7. or could be met with bishop f5 even. There are many ways for white to play this position.
True. I think white can just take this a5 pawn through some sequence or another, and
And it's very important to know that after queen h4, bishop f5, something like queen f4 is not available because the queen on b8 controls this diagonal. So that's why black will not have these perpetuals, with queen c1, king h2, and queen f4, because the queen on b8 does a great job of also defending her king, even being far away. It's like a long distance relationship between the king and the queen. So even though she's really far away, she's still thinking of him and she still supports him with everything that she can. Oh, that's sweet.
nice analogy. So queen into h4, I think white will likely play knight d6 or knight c7. At least that's what. And then after queen e7, I would simply take knight into e8, queen into e8, queen d6 check, queen e7, queen into d5. And here black cannot play queen e1 check and queen into f2 because queen d8 is checkmate. So yeah, queen into d5, and I think this position is quite nice for white. Here's the bishop and two connected passes on the queen side. The game progressed slightly differently. He played knight c7 and took knight into d5, but this does allow queen e1 and queen into f2, no?
It does. And actually, the problem is that after queen f2, there is queen h4, queen e1 perpetual coming in. So any kind of mating threats also will not work.
Yeah, so queen into f2, white has to play queen d8, protecting this, and it still gets tricky for black because queen e7 check would be a threat, and there's knight c7 and all these moves coming up.
But
So
can't black simply take on c2, queen d6, king g8 has been played. Now knight e7 maybe, and now knight e7 check actually, because after king h7 there is bishop f5 check. Oh, this is so complicated
but
right
king
now.
h8, no?
Yeah, exactly. He can simply play king h8. Oh, bishop f5, so smart and tricky.
No, but this allows
Bodacious.
perpetual.
No, bishop h3.
Oh, bishop
No?
h3. Okay. Yeah,
Exactly.
got it.
So tricky, this boys. So maybe he plays knight e4 now. Do you think knight e4 is a good move here? With the idea that after bishop e4, we have queen h4, queen e1 perpetual coming in. But maybe for knight e4,
looks scary. Queen
yeah,
e5, for
or
example.
queen e7. Queen e7 will not work because of queen f5, but queen e5, yeah.
Yeah. This is scary. This is a tough position for Paulina with
She does
so
play
little
knight
time.
e4, queen e5, and what is it?
Now
Maybe
queen
knight
h4 check is
d6.
forced, I guess. Maybe knight d6 also, yeah. But I would think about queen h4 check,
Oh, even
and
queen
after
h4.
bishop h3, the thing is, uh, as black always has his queen g3, so this feels a bit comfortable, and maybe some bishop d7, no?
Yeah, or even bishop b5. Yeah, bishop d7 is also cool, I guess. Bishop d7, bishop b5. There are some options. Bishop d5 might also work actually, because queen b8, king h7, queen b5, there is queen g3 check.
Yeah, there's always queen g3 in all the variations. Oh, no. You have to be careful. Oh, yeah, queen f2 check is there,
Yes,
yeah?
exactly. After king g1, there is queen f2 and not queen e1. So that's the reason this kind of tactics work. I think Polina is in a defendable position. It's just that it is also scary for black.
Yeah, but I think she has seen this because otherwise she wouldn't have played knight e4.
Mhm.
And queen b8 flashed out by Gukesh. Also a strong move.
Very strong.
Queen h4 check I would play as black first just to get this bishop away. And then I would... Oh, she plays king
Plays
f8.
king f8. King
She likes...
f8.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine, sure. Makes sense.
King f8. Oh my god. Knight c7 is a blunder because queen g3 and at least a perpetual, if nothing else. And queen e5 back. Maybe just queen h4 now.
Yeah, queen h4, bishop h3, and
bishop d7.
a safe move here, yeah?
Oh, bishop d7 will Yeah, bishop d7 should be okay, right?
Yeah, queen b8 check, there's always bishop e8. But still the
Yeah,
game goes on, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah. Is Leon winning, by the way? Oh, Nihal is winning. Nihal is winning. Uh, yes, Nihal is.
Nihal has won.
Oh, yeah, Nihal has won.
Nihal has won against Padelka Olga. So Nihal moves to 14 out of 19 points. At the moment, he's on sole second place, but everyone else is still playing. So we have to wait for the other results.
Yes, true, true, true.
Oh,
How is
excellent.
how is our top board going? The Abdu Prague game.
Yeah, I just
Prague
thought to
down
have a
to 10 seconds. Yeah, yeah, sure,
look
Soumya.
at
Which game?
Leon's
Leon.
game
Yes.
because we haven't covered it much. So Leon is white against a wonder, and I wonder what's happening. Because it's so fun to just twist around his name and make all these puns. Rook e5. I think black is okay.
Winning.
Black will at least be a pawn up after rook e6 and rook into c6. Maybe
This king is so far away, so black in good position to take these two pawns and win.
he plays f5. So he wants to basically take the c6 pawn with his king and keep his rook on e5 and activate his king so that the king can go to a4 even and collect a3. Also, the rooks can't really defend it via the third rank because but abhi rook h6 aa raha hai na. So rook b5. Oh, this is what he missed probably. But now a5 maybe.
Yeah, yeah. The white king is just too far away. That's the problem. Black can even play rook d5, rook d2, rook a2, I think, if required.
And a5, ba5, ba5, rook b3. This idea also should be winning for black because the king is so far away, no?
Yes, true, true, true.
Okay. So looks difficult for Leon. And Abdu versus Prague have just completed 45 moves and they are in a completely equal rook ending now. This is
Looks to be going towards a draw.
Yeah, this looks like a draw. If anyone has a chance, it's white because it's black because he's the one with an outside pass pawn here. It should be a draw.
Yeah, I think there should be a repetition shortly. The players are also tired and not much to play for. So that brings us to the Gukesh game. Yeah, the Gukesh game is pretty interesting. It's still going on. It's intense, and Gukesh is winning. So Gukesh is probably going to trap this knight on b2 after king into a3, and after king into a3, white is just winning, I think.
Oh, that knight on b2, poor knight on b2, just struggling to survive. That's it.
Don't get too emotionally attached to the knight song. Yeah.
But it's gone. It's gone forever, Shri.
Yes,
Gone.
true. It's gone, but black will get a new knight on b8 the next game. So
There is no next game. It's such a pity.
there is always a next game somewhere. There is always a next game.
In this tournament, no?
Yeah.
Last round. So Gukesh has won his game against Shuvalova Polina. He also moves to 14 out of 19 points. Murzin Volodar also won his game. So he's also on 14 out of 19 points. All three of them tie.
Yes, all three of them in tie.
You know, Murzin Volodar, oh my God, he has won the last 6 games. He won the 14th game yesterday and then he won all his 5 games today. No, he won the 14th and 15th game yesterday and he won all his 4 games today. Wow,
Yes,
very strong
yes.
finish by him. Very strong finish by him.
True. The chat saying that Gukesh is in the second spot. It's been brilliant performance by Gukesh.
Yes, absolutely brilliant.
So
Gukesh
Prague has performed in such a way that the mystery is only about the second spot. Yeah.
Actually, I think all the kids have performed so well. I'm just looking at Gukesh's performance. He has also won all his 4 games today. And in general, 14 out of 19 is also a very strong finish. Nihal also won all the last 3 games today, despite losing the first one. He lost the last 3 rounds of the. He won the last 3 rounds of the tournament. Very strong finish by Nihal as well. And tying for second place at the moment. Only Abdusatorov is still playing, so he's the only one who can overtake them because he's playing on 13 and a half points. And Vincent, by the way, also finished the tournament on 13 and a half. He lost the last round against Christopher Yu.
Yes, and it looks like Leon has managed to fight back against Leon Wonder. Well, this game is probably heading towards a draw, which will cause some change in the standings. Uh, Leon seems to be heading towards a draw himself. That would definitely be a sweeter finish compared to if Leon loses.
Yeah. Yeah, this seems to be a draw, right? How does black convert it? Like c4, then king b3. But then, okay, he plays rook e4.
So yeah, just protect against. Yeah, no, white is really holding his own, and Leon has also improved his play in the last few seconds, I think, compared to last year. So, uh, fantastic performance. And guys, do like the stream and hit the subscribe button if you still haven't. Let's do our best to encourage our juniors to fight at the global stage.
And so just for the chat, I want to point out that he gave a rook e4 check here, and here king f3 would have been a huge blunder because rook e3, rook into e3, f into e3, king e3, king c4, and this endgame is winning, or maybe that's also a draw actually after a4.
Oh, a4, very nice, very nice, very nice.
Actually, that's also a draw. Wow. So that was also not such a big blunder as it looked, but king b2 is anyway a safe move to play, and king b6, rook f3, king a5. It's very hard to make progress as black here.
True.
Yeah, it looks to be heading to a draw.
Yes, Prag has officially drawn his game against Abdusaturo. So that brings some clarity towards the standings. Prag, the absolute winner with 15 and a half out of 19. And in the joint second, we have four of fantastic juniors: Abdusaturo, Gukesh, Nihal, and Murjan. And the tiebreaks were also in that exact order. Abdu in the second spot, Gukesh in the third spot, Nihal in the fourth spot, and Murjan in the fifth spot. And the tiebreak is basically their direct encounters. So I think that is final, regardless of what happens in this game, because it's calculated based on the head-to-head encounters between these four kids: Abdusaturo, Gukesh, Nihal, and Murjan. And in that, I think Abdusaturo has probably a better head-to-head score.
Right. So, yeah, very strong finish by all of these kids. Waiting for Leon to finish his game. And oh, it is also a draw. He has finished his game. So it is also a draw. And Leon finishes on 12 out of 19 points.
Yes, yes.
Very good performance by all the Indian kids, I must say.
And with that, with the end of all the games, we have a very special guest joining, the coach of Pragnananda and the coach of Indian team for several years, coach of many, many grandmasters in India, Grandmaster R.B. Ramesh.
Yeah.
Welcome to the stream, Ramesh Anna. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
And
very happy.
Very strong performance by Prague. All his games were remarkable. Won the tournament with a round to spare.
Yeah, especially like after losing the first round, uh, the way he managed to come back with so many wins, and some of them were in some tough positions as well. He got into trouble in some positions, but he still managed to defend few crucial games. I think that also played a good part. Like when you
Which ones you would say? I mean, maybe we
initially,
can have a look at
uh,
them.
okay, um, how do I get his games? Wait, I was usually watching in my mobile phone.
Yes, because frankly, the impression we got was that Prab was playing really strong chess and never letting go of the initiative once he got it and
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
very
No,
actively.
yeah, but I do remember some games, like for
Some
example
games
against
like
Lianga Vendor.
yeah, and also Christopher Yu game. He played that H5 move.
Yes.
Initially, it was in some slightly tough spot.
Yes,
And
yes, in the
some
opening.
in few games he got into some positionally slightly worse,
Mhm.
but not many. Like probably two or three. I don't have access to the games now. I have not downloaded the games. We were just seeing online and discussing with these boys on WhatsApp chat. Yeah, so he made a remarkable comeback and after the first round, and yesterday he lost the final game. That was probably not necessary. He should have gone to a rook and pawn ending, I guess. He got a 95 check at one point.
Mhm.
Probably that would have simply given a draw, but he missed that and then went for the kingside pawns and lost against Keemer. But again, today, the one thing I was impressed is like he kept the nerves. Um, like sometimes on the last day, the pressure can get to you, but he did not let it happen. He did not let it affect him. So very happy that he's doing well.
And
Did you
this is
speak
not,
to?
yeah,
Sorry.
sure. Please go
Did
ahead.
you did you speak to him after the games yesterday? And what was his mood yesterday after losing that game? And like, how did you like? Did you have to like specially motivate him, or was he in a good frame of mind?
He's a professional.
He's a
No,
professional. Okay.
like even when he was like 7.5 or 8 when we started working,
Okay.
he was like probably like 1700 something, and his uh, mother complained. There was only once his parent have complained about him. That was when he was very young, and
Mm-hmm.
the complaint was like, "Sir, he's not serious about chess." And they asked, "Why? Why do you feel that way?" And her mom says like, when he comes out of the playing hall, when we look at other children, we can find out from their face whether they won or lost. But this guy, when he comes out, he's always coming out smiling, even after losing a game. Then I said, so he's not serious. So that's how typically parents look. They feel like if you lose a game, it's like end of the world or something. But Prague, from young age, one of his positive things I could say is like he doesn't care much for individual results, like what happens in this round or this tournament. He knows it is temporary. What matters is whether he is improving his chest strength and is getting growing as a player. So accidents can always happen in individual games, and I've never seen him affect him personally too much. So he is not a kind of a person who needs consoling after a loss. So
Wow.
if you just see your WhatsApp messages after the loss, you will like you won't make out that he just lost the game.
Maybe you were talking about the cricket match. I feel.
He's not very fond of cricket,
Uh-huh.
but okay, we have Aravind Karthi and also.
Uh-huh. Yes, yes. And what do you think? Like, do you feel he improved a lot during the lockdown? I mean, as a player, and do you think he worked in like specific areas that helped him?
No, not just him. Like generally, like all good players, they keep improving over a period of time. Especially young, strong players,
Mhm.
they just keep getting better and better with time. Unlike uh,
Yeah.
like me, like
Unlike us.
Like us, you can say, Ramesh.
uh,
No problem.
once we reach some point, then the growth is not happening. And
Mhm.
so, but when we are young, and if the players are working hard, then there could be temporary drop in forms, but they will always be gaining in strength if they are working properly. So not just Prague, I think most of the players are improving. But it remains to be seen. All these are still online tournaments. Uh, personally, for me, I don't give much importance to online tournaments. Um, so it remains to be seen how it reflects on over the board games. That is a different ball game altogether. But I'm sure like all the strong players are working and improving, and I'm sure Prag has also got better. But one few things I noticed is like he's playing. He has been working on adding new openings. Uh, that he has been working. I mean, all these boys, Arvind, Karthi, everyone has been working a lot, and they have added new openings to the repertoire. So that's also good because you get fresh positions. You're not always playing same kind of positions. You have more variety now. So that is one thing, and he's also playing more calmly. That is what I'm personally satisfied. He's not. Um, Sometimes he could get emotional during the game, but in this tournament and also in World Juniors and World Under 18 at Mumbai and Delhi, he was showing much better nerves than before. So I think
Oh.
that is very important to reach very high levels.
And
Yeah,
did he have to do something specific in order to develop his nerves, or did it just happen as a process of growth?
Uh, no, what I have seen from my experience, like especially young children, when they get too much attention, like when Prague became an IM, till he became an IM, he was like super jolly kid. Nothing can make him sad kind of child. But I have seen many 7, 8, 9 year old kids, if they lose a game, they will react like end of the world. So they will take it too personally, and they will let it affect their confidence and so on. So till Prague became an IM, he was not noticed very much just public or in the media. But once he became at that point world's youngest IM, he got too much media attention, and everyone started asking, "Will you become the world's youngest grandmaster?" and so on. And then I think at that point it affected him a bit because he became more conscious about playing for results. I remember one incident when Arvind, Prag, and me, we were having a camp before some event. He was going to play some tournament in Europe. This was before he became IM, and then in the session he did very well during the class, and then on the last day when he's about to leave for the tournament, I told him like you are playing extremely well, and don't try for. He already had 2 IM norms at that point, so I said. You can even make a GM norm if you want. You don't have to go for IM norm. So you already have something close to GM strength, something like this I told. But whenever we discuss about results, that is very rare. I normally try to tell them don't worry about temporary results. In the long run, like where we reach eventually, that is more important, and it's still a long journey ahead. So that's how we used to discuss. And when started talking about IM norm, GM norm, and all, and mind you, he was 10 years old at the time, and he said, "But sir, all these years you have been telling not to play for these norms, but now you say like I should play for GM norm. What should I do?" So he was very clear from very young age. Like he was not giving importance, but when others start talking about it, then that kind of affected him a little bit, and that was one of the reason he took some time to become a GM, and he started making more draws, and started playing more solid chess kind of thing. He was not playing his normal style because um, that pressure to meet others' expectations, he let it get better of him. But then once he completed the GM title, then again it took some time for him to come out of that, where he is trying not to lose. Uh, so I think the last 1.5 years, especially from World Youth onwards, he has overcome that, I think. And now he's playing, he's enjoying chess and playing. So he doesn't mind playing any kind of position. And normally you get very interesting games when you play like this.
yeah, he's in a state of flow, at least in this tournament, we could sense it.
Yeah, and also it's a good thing it happened now because he will get more attention. Probably it will lead to getting
We have sorry to
implications.
interrupt, but we have the boy himself joining. He has already joined us in the broadcast. So, Prag, the winner of the Julius Baer Challenges Chess Tour, the Polgar Challenge, has joined us. Welcome, welcome, Prag, and congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
Heartiest congratulations, Prag. Your teacher and mentor, Ramesh sir, is with us. Ramesh Anna, would you like to speak to him? Did you?
Kalakita.
Kalakite. How are you feeling, Prag? And we noticed that when you won the tournament a round to spare, after you won the 18th game, you were so relieved. What was going on in your mind? Okay, at least I can play the last round freely, or like there was this sense of relief in you, but you didn't smile. It was just a relief.
Like I was too tense in that game. So after I won, I was just
calm, yeah, relaxed.
So, do you have a favorite game or a favorite moment from this tournament, so that I can put it on the screen while we talk?
Bishop H1.
which game? Like
Gukesh Bishop H1.
actually, it was a different. There was a different Bishop H1. Like I can show you. Like
Yeah, I know,
Yes,
we
yes,
noticed it.
but
actually,
we can
that
see
was
it.
my preparation. But the point is, I didn't remember in the game.
Yeah, but you show it anyway, no problem.
Yes,
Which
let's
round
see.
was it? 14th.
No, not 4. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it
14th
was-
game.
It was around this point, no?
Yeah, here Queen B7. I think Queen B7. Yeah, Queen F1 and Bishop H1 here. I'm pretty sure Gukesh also knew it, but I think he didn't know which model.
Oh, this is all preparation.
Yeah, like he already played a game. Not here, but this Bishop F6 C4 So I guess.
Ah,
Oh my
okay,
God.
okay.
But
But
you
you
are
guys,
getting
both of you are
Queen B2
close
Queen
to.
G7.
Sorry.
Yeah. Later he missed Queen B2 Queen G7. I guess.
Sorry, where? Let's.
After what happened in the game. After
Queen
Bishop
B2
C2,
Queen G7.
No. I think earlier, Shri, not here.
Like
Ramesh and I is talking about an earlier position.
No,
So,
after Bishop H1. After Bishop H1.
yes.
Few moves later.
Okay.
Just go
I
forward.
didn't.
King H1.
Okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Rook D4.
Yeah, maybe Queen D5, Queen B7, he missed King G2.
Yeah. Knight C2 here. Knight C2 here. Knight C2 here is better, I guess.
When?
No, not instead of King H1. Knight C2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go back.
Bishop F3.
This is a push. Yeah.
Yeah. At this point, Knight C2.
Mhm.
Bishop F3. Right? Forced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Queen A3.
Queen A3. Ah, okay.
Okay.
Now, wherever it moves the bishop, Queen B2, Queen G7.
Ah, okay. What a geometry. The queen was on A6, came back to A3, then gave a check and went to G7. Completely switched sides. Yeah, hard to spot.
True.
But what you played in the game is not sufficient, like king into H1 for advantage.
He is
Like,
completely winning.
yeah, exactly.
F5 was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait.
Yeah.
A4.
True.
I missed that he has his King C8 and there's no queen exchange. Like after queen after queen 1.
You missed what?
King C8.
King C8.
Okay. Yeah. I see it here.
That is not.
Right. You thought the queens are getting exchanged by force because he has to go to King C6 or King B7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I
Hmm.
wanted to ask, but I wanted to wait till Prag joined. So, Prag, you're
Mhm.
part of the Meltwater Champion Chess Tour now for the
Mhm.
April event. Ramesh, your first words to Prag regarding the event?
Okay, so how to say, myself, Prague, or most of our my relationship with students, like we try not to discuss about these kind of things. Like if Anand and Carlson are going to, let's say, Caruana and Carlson before the World Championship match, usually
Mhm.
media will ask, who is your favorite? What do you think will be the score? Who will win the match? All these things. For me, it's all not very interesting. It's something like astrology. So may the best player win. So for me, like Prague, he has got a good opportunity to play against strong players. I just wish him he will make the best use of it. And knowing Prague is extremely hardworking. Even when there are no tournaments, he just cannot live without chess. So he's like a chess addict. So whether there are tournaments or not, whether he's going to play Magnus Carlsen or a 2100 player, he will still be doing his preparation. He will do his job. So I'm sure he'll be very excited to play at this level. And I just wish it's just a beginning of things to come.
Yes, absolutely. We wish the same and really
Talking
looking.
talking about loving chess, how has the challenge been going a whole year without playing any over the board event? Although there have been online events, it must be really tough without being used to playing tournaments all the time. So how have you been able to deal with this, bro?
Yeah, I just play this online event. So
And he
So
has his sister to play over the board with.
So both Vaishali and Prak, like Vaishali, if you see, like she's extremely very silent. You won't not see her at all, and she's studying. And Prak,
Oh,
for 1 or 2 months, he was also doing the same. He was probably he was working for the 10th exams,
mhm.
and that is also I think it also probably helped him to
Take his mind away
take
from
mind
chess.
away from chess and good relaxation. He was also studying a lot.
when is the 10th exam scheduled to happen?
like
May
this
6th.
May.
year it's all passing, so there will be no exams.
Yeah, for state board there are no exams.
Oh, okay. So what happens now? Do you go directly to 11th or something, or 10th you have to repeat at some point?
I think I go to 11.
I think.
It is
I
nice,
like
no?
that he says, I think I go to 11th. He clearly doesn't care.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I go to 11th.
Okay, you're pretty sure. Okay, that's good. But anyway, all your focus must be on the Meltwaters Championships tour now, no? Starting on 24th.
Or
Was
just
it?
celebrating the win for now and having fun?
Do you celebrate victories, Prag? I just wanted to ask this question. Do you
Because I mean,
celebrate
I
after
have
you
heard
win a
about some
tournament?
dance videos and stuff, but none of us have actually seen it.
Oh, I
Uh,
have seen a very cute dance video. I don't think Prag was, but maybe Prag wasn't in it. It was Aravind, maybe.
No, Arvind and Karthi.
Aravind and
No, there's
Karthi.
also a dance video of Prag, no? Which
Yeah,
has
yeah, but
never
it is
seen.
Maybe
only
not on the internet.
yeah, Ganguly has, but not in public domain.
But
Not
do
yet.
you usually celebrate Prag with Vaishali, and at least at home, do you have some small celebration?
Not really.
Not really. It's just about playing chess.
Yeah.
So when he became IM, he was playing at Khan Open, right? Prak?
Mhm.
Last
Yes, yes. That was the first time
Khan
I
Open,
met
right?
him.
Yeah,
Now,
it is my first time on there.
so when he made the norm, like myself and Vaishali, we knew that if he makes a draw in the last round, he will get his IM norm.
Mhm.
But he did not know, and we did not tell him. Like I told Vaishali not to tell him, let him just play the way he likes. And the game ended in a draw, I think. And
I don't know. I think I made a norm there with round to spare. Not sure.
round to spare.
Yeah, I
I
lost
think
it.
you needed a draw, but and you made
Maybe that
draw,
was
I
an
think,
error flow.
something like that. And
And
then
then I needed to make a draw or win. Then I won it.
mm, immediately after the game, Vaishali, Prag, and Aravind they went to the analysis room, and they started playing Blitz. So just after completing his title, and he was not aware that he has made the norm. And then I asked Vaishali to go and check with the arbiter and then confirm, and they confirm. And yeah, so
They continued playing Blitz after that also. So this is the way they celebrate playing more chess. Very nice, Prag. Very happy for you. Really great games, and wish you good luck in the coming events. Hope you're learning a lot as well. As Kramnik said, one of the takeaways is also about learning a lot from the events, right? Like getting experience as much as you can and using it for your future. So I hope it works in both ways, not only in your present performances, but also in your future ones.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot from this experience as well as from coaching from Gelfan sir for this event, and yeah, I'm just enjoying it.
Oh yeah, that's something I wanted to personally ask you. So generally, uh, do you want to thank someone specifically for after winning this event, or not just one person specifically, but whomever you want to thank?
Yeah. I want to thank Julius Baer and Chess 24 Challenger Sister for inviting me to this tournament, and also to Anand sir for taking me in his this Westbridge
West.
Anand Science Academy, and I've been enjoying those classes as well, and yeah, to Ramesh sir, and yeah, to all my friends.
Oh, that's very sweet.
even
Sweet.
Arvind Sundaram and Karthikeyan, they have played a huge role along with Vaishali and this
Yeah, and my sister also, she helped me during this event, just taking some news.
Oh, she was helping you,
Yeah,
like with your
like she
preparation.
was studying and as well as, but like when I'm playing, she can't study. Like yeah, sad too. So she was following the game.
Very nice, Prag. Many congratulations, and thank you so much for joining.
Thank
Thank you,
Yeah,
Srinath.
thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much,
Yeah.
Ramesh sir,
Yeah,
for sharing all your insights.
take care. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much. Once again, congratulations, Prag,
Yes,
and really look forward to seeing you in the Meltwater Champion Chess Tour.
yes. Huge congratulations from all of us.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
All right, guys, thank you so much for staying with us all through. Once again, do like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. That brings an end to the Chess 24 India broadcast of the Julius Baer Challengers Chess Tour. We had a lovely time, and I hope you did as well. Any signing off words from you, Soumya?
Oh, I'm just so glad that we got to watch all the games together. So many things to learn from these kids, and such beautiful games, combinations, tactics, psychology, and humility. So much humility from all the kids. So shy and so much love for the game is tremendous. Like I think that is the common thing between all the kids. They're not really so keen on the result, but on the quality of the games, on improving as a player, and their love for the game is never ending. So I personally learned a lot, and also it was so much fun to comment with you, Shri. I just want to tell the Janta one secret I want to reveal, that Srinath was also working with Nihal before the streams for long hours. So he used to work with Nihal for his games, then come on the stream, handle the whole OBS and commentate for 4 hours. That's a lot of work. I struggle with OBS even for 1 hour streams. So this was, I'm sure it must have been tremendous, and it was so much fun to comment with you, Shri. And
Thank you. Thank you so
thank
much,
you so
Soumya.
much.
It's completely likewise. Completely likewise. I have no. I can tell with absolute. I have no hesitation in telling that you have been my best co-host so far.
Thank you so much. I know it's a diss on someone else rather than a compliment to me, but still I'll take it. And thank you so much to our lovely Janta. आप पूरे 4 दिन हमारे साथ रहे for 4 hours. Thank you so much. and do like and subscribe to the channel. That would be the last words I would sign off with, because हम next चैंपियंस टूर के लिए भी आएंगे और चैलेंजेस टूर भी कवर करेंगे. तो do subscribe to the channel to get all the notifications.